I'm soaking through and through. And then you handed me a towel, and all I see is you. And even if my house falls down now, I wouldn't have a clue, because you're near me. And I want to thank you for giving me the best day of my life.
This is Nationwide 90 FM, owned and operated by Nationwide News Network Limited. We broadcast from our studios at 14 Ocean Boulevard in the Digicel Center, downtown Kingston, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band, 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester, transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Cooper's Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James. Serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on YouTube at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, RevoNews.ai and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock.
From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning.
A very good morning to you. I'm Tona Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Friday, April 10, 2026. Education Ministry welcomes a timeline for the relocation of persons currently being sheltered at schools. Youth Advocacy Group says the JTA president has a duty to disclose what he knows about alleged sexual activity in schools still being used as shelters. Energy Minister says potential investors are beating a path to Jamaica amid news of the possibility of oil find. In regional news, the World Bank says Guyana's economy should grow by double digits in 2026. In international news, IMF boss says ongoing Middle East conflict will scar the global economy. In sports, St. Jago have only an outside chance of victory against Stetson Spalding Cup. And in business, Japan to dip into its reserves to address a fuel shortage caused by ongoing Middle East conflict. The details after the break.
This station raised me. It gave me a voice. And if Nationwide has ever meant something to you, come on in. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club today on Patreon.
Catch the first news of the day. A comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon has welcomed the announcement from the local government ministry of a definitive date by which shelter occupants in schools will be relocated.
The ministry is encouraged by the recently announced May 8 deadline for the relocation of the remaining shelterees. And we thank Minister Mackenzie and his team for the work they're doing to provide housing, decent housing for these shelterees. The ministry reiterates that its focus remains firmly on the safety and well-being of children.
Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, Minister of Education. The local government ministry says only 8 schools are currently functioning as shelters, housing a total of 81 displaced people. It says the priority for relocation will be given to Petersfield High School in Westmoreland, which has approximately half of all the shelter occupants. The ministry says a range of housing solutions are being deployed to support the move. These include the provision of modular housing units, the payment of rent, and other tailored measures based on the needs of individual families. The Jamaica Youth Advocacy Network, JN, believes the JTA President Mark Malava is duty-bound to present to the police any information relating to the allegations he publicly shared. Executive Director of JN, Shanique Bowden, was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Thursday.
The prescribed persons who have a responsibility by law, if they're aware of these incidents, to report them. So if the JTA president knows which school it is and knows who the perpetrators are, it is his responsibility by law to let the relevant authorities know that so that they can investigate and address the matter.
On Tuesday, the Malava said he had received reports of sexually inappropriate behavior among occupants of school shelters in a full view of students. He, however, refused to make any formal report of the alleged incident, and he declined to identify the school. He has since doubled down on his position, arguing that the Education Ministry has no legal authority to investigate the matter. Bowden says his stance is irresponsible.
If these allegations are true, we need the information to be presented to the relevant authorities so that they can investigate and address the matters promptly. It's unclear to us, and it's, based on the reports that we're seeing, when exactly these situations may have happened. The timeline seems to be quite loose and fast as to when it could have potentially the issue would have arisen, if that's the case. We are not acting with of urgency to address it. And so this idea of keeping whatever was told in confidence at the expense of our children's well-being is incredibly irresponsible and a cause of great concern on our end.
Shanique Bowden, Executive Director of JN. Meanwhile, Assistant Chief Education Officer for the Education Ministry's Guidance and Counseling Division, Kennedy Davidson, says the law requires that situations which put children at risk are to be reported.
The law says if we suspect that our children are in danger, it is therefore critical for us to report the matter to those legal authorities, to include the stalker, especially in the case of sexual activities that could predispose a child to danger. It has to be reported, not be brought in a public sphere, but reported using all those mechanisms that are in place for that kind of report.
She adds that any report that comes to the ministry would be transferred to the relevant entities.
And what the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information would expect is that these people who are prescribed persons by law, to include principals, teachers, all reports would go directly to the offices of the Children's Registry, Child Protection Family Services agencies. But we would also want to hasten to do what we can to secure the well-being of any child that is presumed to be placed in a situation where harm could come to that child.
Kennedy Davidson, Assistant Chief Education Officer for the Education Ministry's Guidance and Counseling Division. She was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Thursday. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz says there has been a surge in investor interest following news of a potential oil find off the island's south coast.
These results, which are scientific results, will make it that much easier for United Oil and Gas to seek partners, and those partners obviously will be big oil and gas giants in the United States and across the world. In speaking to United Oil and Gas today, he has already indicated to me that there has been a huge interest, and he actually will be traveling to the United States and other places to meet with these potential investors.
Vaz was a guest on Nationwide at 5 on Thursday. On Wednesday, British-based oil and gas exploration and development company United Oil and Gas reported findings indicating there could be an active petroleum system in the country. The assessment is based on results from an oil and gas survey conducted under license in the Walton Morant block. Minister Vaz says the next step will involve a capital-intensive drilling program to determine whether the commodity exists in commercially viable quantities. He says United should have no problem attracting the requisite investment for the undertaking.
They would have started at a 10% chance when they started and got the license. They moved to a 20% possibility and probability. And prior to these new results, they will probably be at the highest of any level of confidence in potential investments to go to the next step.
And if you could put that in a percentage, what would it be? Because we moved from 10% to 20%.
Well, I would say, based on my discussions, 30% is a very, 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 very reasonable and conservative estimate, but in the line of this business, it is considered very high. If the drilling is successful, then it will require more capital to drill more wells, because I think it's up to 14 wells that you're looking at.
Darrell Vaz, Minister of Energy. Meanwhile, Minister Vaz indicates that should a major oil discovery be confirmed, he may reconsider retirement from active politics.
This could be a huge game changer for Jamaica in the medium term. I want to stress that, because if they were to raise the funds within the next few months, the earliest that drilling could take place for a single well would be between the end of 27 and 2028. If the Prime Minister remains confident in me, I would never leave the country at a critical juncture like that. I would have to reconsider my retirement to carry this to fruition. But just to say that, I don't want anybody to get the impression that they were going to drill next week and we're going to get a result in 3 months like what happened with the exploration.
Darrell Vaz, Minister of Energy. The volume of past due loans in the country in the first month of the year ballooned by $30 billion. This is according to a recent report from the Bank of Jamaica BOJ. Mahira Stewart tells us more.
As at the end of January, past due loans stood at $84 billion. That's up from $50 billion in December 2025. A past due loan is defined as one on which no payment is made for between 1 and 3 months. According to the BOJ, loans to the tourism industry accounted for the bulk of the past due amounts for the January period, totaling $27 billion. That's up from $3 billion recorded at the end of December 2025, a 9-fold increase in a single month. The BOJ says the figure has surpassed the COVID-19 record of $80 billion in April 2020. Past due loans are considered an early warning signal of financial stress. If left unresolved, they often migrate into the more serious non-performing category. According to the central bank, the deterioration in tourism industry repayments reflects the significant hit from Hurricane Melissa. Meanwhile, the non-bank financial institutions have also fallen behind on their loan payments and in larger amounts. The BOJ data show the segment moved from $249 million in past due amounts to $8 billion month on month. In the meantime, non-performing loans, those unserviced for more than 3 months, slightly increased over the period. They inched from $44 billion to $45 billion. By contrast, the value of individual and personal loans in both the past due and non-performing categories fell for the period. In the non-performing category, they declined from nearly $31 billion to just under $30 billion. In the past due category, household and personal loans fell from $26.8 billion to $24.9 billion. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
There has been a 9% increase in major crimes in Manchester since the start of the year. This based on data recorded in the corresponding period in 2024. Head of the Manchester Police, Superintendent Kerry Duncan, provided the figures during Thursday's monthly meeting of the Manchester Municipal Corporation.
What has challenged us was those incidents over in Comfort, Mayday space that we had earlier in the year, where we had some land settlements, where we had some persons unfortunately being killed. Since those incidents, I want to say that we have implemented several strategies in the space, and they seem to be working pretty well. We have not seen any major incidents over in that space since the last incident where we had the double homicide. We have had a special team that is designated over in that that space. We refer to it as proximity policing, where persons within that space can reach out to police within 2 minutes of anything happening in that space. And we're seeing where it is in fact working.
Data from the Jamaica Constabulary Force's Serious Crimes Report show that 10 people have been murdered in Manchester as at April 4. This represents 5 more than those recorded for the corresponding period in 2025. Shootings have gone up by 29%. Robberies have seen a 50% jump, and break-ins have increased by 6%. Superintendent Duncan says despite the increase, the police have seized more illegal weapons and ammunition since the start of the year.
Our team in Manchester have recovered some 8 prohibited weapons and over 200 rounds of ammunition, and that is up from last year where we recovered at this time 5 illegal firearms. There are some initiatives that we have in place that can't speak about right now. Looking at those murders on the land settlement side and the Old England. So apart from that, having cauterized all of that in that space, now what we're seeing emerging now are the domestic related issues in the space. So there's certainly a need to have those interventions done.
Superintendent Kerry Duncan, head of the Manchester Police Division. Meanwhile, the Manchester Police are tracing the source of a viral video showing the arrest of a Jamaica Defence Force soldier accused of killing his girlfriend. The soldier is a 27-year-old Damoniste Tyrone Williamson. He has been charged with the murder of a 29-year-old Tanzania Dunkley, a technician of 3 chains in the parish. It's reported that on Friday, April 3, Dunkley was stabbed at her home multiple times by Williamson. The soldier then turned himself into the police. In the video, Williamson is seen with a knife in his hand and is heard repeatedly begging the police to kill him. Commanding officer for the Manchester Police Division, Superintendent Kerry Duncan, addressed the matter at Thursday's sitting of the Manchester Municipal Corporation.
I want to also add my commendations to the team for the restraint that they exercise in making that arrest, right? The video was taken. We are not sure at this point who took the video, but I can tell you it's a matter that is under investigation, because if we find that it is a member of our team, then it's a clear breach of our policy, and certainly we'll be taking some action where it is concerned.
Superintendent Kerry Duncan, commanding officer for the Manchester Police Division. Williamson is set to appear in the Manchester Parish Court later on this Friday. The Jamaica Fire Brigade is investigating the circumstances of a fire which claimed the life of a 14-year-old girl in St. John's Gardens, Spanish Town, St. Catherine, on Wednesday. The teen's brother was injured in the incident and is being treated at hospital. The incident occurred sometime after 4 p.m. The Jamaica Fire Brigade's divisional head for St. Catherine, Superintendent Dennis Lyon, provided the details.
We dispatched 1 unit to the scene. When the unit was on its way, and based on the volume of smoke seen emitting into the atmosphere, they requested additional help, and another unit was dispatched. So both units got on the scene. We got into operation, and when the fire was brought under control, it was a 5-bedroom dwelling house, and we implement cooling down measures. We came upon the body of a 14-year-old female in one of the bedrooms. Her brother, we were told, was transmitted to the hospital before our arrival. And at the moment, we are conducting an investigation into where the fire originated and the cause.
Superintendent Dennis Lyon, St. Catherine Divisional Head at the Jamaica Fire Brigade. He was speaking with our news centre on Thursday. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:17.
The regional and international news roundup is brought to you by Hanes Underwear. Cool, comfortable clothing all day long.
In regional and international news this morning, Guyana's oil-driven economic expansion is not only accelerating at a record pace, but is now being underpinned by massive revenue inflows, placing the country firmly ahead of its regional peers. This amid sluggish growth and persistent structural constraints in the wider Latin America and Caribbean region. That's according to the April 2026 edition of the World Bank's Latin America and the Caribbean Economic Update. The publication says Guyana remains the standout performer in the region, with a projected growth of 16.3% in 2026, continuing a multi-year trend of extraordinary expansion. It says this double-digit growth is forecast to continue in 2027 to 23.5%. The report says the oil-driven expansion of Guyana is widening divergence relative to economies that depend heavily on tourism. Also in regional news at this hour, Cuba's President Miguel Diaz-Canel says he will not resign under U.S. pressure in his first television interview with an American broadcaster. Diaz-Canel told NBC News on Thursday that Cuba is a free sovereign state that has self-determination and independence. He says his country is not subjected to the designs of the United States. He criticized the Trump administration of implementing hostile policy against Cuba, noting the U.S. has no moral authority to demand anything from Cuba. The 65-year-old Diaz-Canel says the concept of revolutionaries giving up and stepping down is not part of his people's vocabulary. International. The head of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, is warning that the Iran war will permanently scar the global economy, even if a durable peace deal in the Middle East can be reached. In a speech delivered as the ceasefire in the conflict threatened to unravel, Kristalina Georgieva says the scarring effects caused by the war would mean slower global growth this year than first anticipated. She says if the conflict did not begin 6 weeks ago, the IMF would have upgraded its global growth outlook for 2026. She says even its most hopeful scenario involves a growth downgrade. In the speech intended as a curtain raiser for the IMF's annual spring meetings in Washington next week, she says there is heightened uncertainty over the depth of the global slowdown triggered by the war. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
The regional and international news roundup was brought to you by Hanes Underwear. Cool, comfortable clothing all day long.
If you love the vibes, the laughs, and the real talk, then you're one of us. Don't just listen, belong. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club on Patreon.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Turn up the heat with Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classifieds feature. If you have a car for sale, room for rent, or yard sale come up. If you look at work or need stuff. If you provide a service, make it a Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classified segment. Your listing plays again and again. From morning till evening. You sing it, we play it. You say it once, Jamaica hears it all day, every hour. Contact our sales team now at 876-630-1210 or sales at nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Hot Listings on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
Now for your morning sports, St. Jago are set to resume on 1:17 for 2 on the third and final day of the ISA First Global Bank GK Insurance Spalding Cup against defending champion Stets at Melbourne Oval. Danza High Junior 50 and Wayne Plummer 19 are the not-out batsmen. The Grey Shield champions are responding to Stets' first innings score of 487. Ryan Littleton made 104, Tyreek Bryan 79, Shapira Jaden 77, Jermaine Bryce 66, and Adrian Silvera 51. Raheem Willie and Vittel Lodds took 4 wickets each. Now, after rising to a career-high world junior ranking of 42, promising Jamaican Alyssa James says she has even greater ambition as she continues to work hard on and off the court. James is currently in the process of gearing up for her collegiate career, which starts in August at the University of Virginia.
Been something I've been working towards for a while. I've always believed that it's something I can accomplish. So while I'm glad to be in the top 50, I mean, I feel like that's where I should be and even higher. Tennis, each tennis match goes through a lot of momentum shifts. There's a lot of adapting that's taken as the match runs its course. It's important to be very adaptable. So you have to recognize during the match, it's important to recognize when there's a momentum shift, because that's hard to catch sometimes.
James says she's trying to hone the killer instinct.
Well, for me personally, one trick that I tell myself is, okay, there's no place you'd rather be right now. Whether you're down 6-0 or you're up 6-0, if you love tennis, like if you love being on the court, there's no place you'd rather be. So it's important to keep perspective. And perspective, it's like, look where you are. I mean, you're playing tennis, you're doing what you love, you're having fun.
Alyssa James, she was speaking on the Missa Analyst podcast. Finally, in your morning sports, last year's beaten finalist Saints will face newcomers Badman Fu in Friday's final of the KPMG Squash League at the Ligony Club in New Kingston starting at 6 p.m. Badman Fu secured their spot in the championship game following a hard-fought 2-1 win over Boast Warriors in the semi-finals, while Saints cruised into their second consecutive final with a 3-0 victory over Rocket Science. And that's it for your morning sports.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
In business this morning, Japan's Prime Minister Sane Takaishi says the country will release additional oil reserves early next month. This as concern grows over energy shortages caused by the crisis in the Middle East. It will be the second time Japan, which is heavily dependent on Middle East oil, has dipped into its strategic reserves since the U.S.-Israel war on Iran started in February. Last month, Akishi approved the release of 50 days' worth of oil, the government's biggest ever release, as the government attempted to head off a spike in prices. Japan has enough oil in reserve to last 230 days, but it is also importing 95% of its crude oil from the Middle East, most of which is transported through the Strait of Hormuz. Most of Japan's reserves, 143 days' worth, are state-owned, with the remainder belonging to the private sector and oil-producing countries in the Gulf. Amazon has told owners it will soon stop supporting older Kindle models, a move which has left some users outraged. In emails from the tech giant, affected users were thanked for being a long-time Kindle customer, but told devices released during or before 2012 would no longer receive updates from May 20. The move will mean owners of older Kindles, including its earliest models such as the Kindle Touch and some Kindle Fire tablets, will be unable to download new ebooks. Amazon said it has supported affected models for years, and their active users have been offered discounts to help transition to newer devices, but some have criticized it for making up to 2 million devices obsolete. In foreign exchange trading now, the Jamaican dollar has lost 9 cents and will open against the benchmark US dollar, selling for an average $159.02. Against the Canadian, the Jamaican has gained 16 cents and will open selling for an average $115.04. And finally, the Jamaican has lost $1.68 and will begin trading for an average $213.69 against the British pound. And that's it for business this morning.
Obtain high-quality maps and a drone aerial image services through the National Land Agency. The time by the NLA is
6:29.
Every day, Rosie has a glass of fruit drink with breakfast, an energy drink on the way to work, a flavored water with lunch, and 2 glasses of soda with dinner, which adds up to more than 50 teaspoons of sugar a day. And all that extra sugar could bring on obesity. Are we drinking ourselves sick? 71% of Jamaicans support a tax on sugary drinks. Help tackle obesity and protect our children's future. A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica.
Mic check 1 1 1 1 1 2 3. Testing for sound, testing for clarity. Mic check 1. Hello, good morning, good morning, good morning. You're tuned in to Nationwide this morning, NTM. One big show. Thank you so much for coming on over and joining us this Friday morning. It is Friday, April 10, 2026. Yeah, everybody rock up into the dance. Yeah, man, full up the chat, full up the space. The space, of course, is Nationwide 90 FM Live. That is the YouTube channel. You want to hop on over from Radioland. This is now appointed radio, but appointed YouTube as well. So you want to hop on over into YouTube land. You don't want to miss this one. So good morning to all of you. Yeah, man. Come into the dance. Rock and come into the dance. I can get a rhythm, Jermaine. What's our rhythm? What's our rhythm? Yeah, yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. NTM. 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 Yeah, 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 yeah.
So we just want to say, them I hear me, Donna?
Yeah, yeah.
We just want to say, what we do this morning, we are show how modern day people do things, yeah? Because the war is on, you know. We are do something where outside of Desmond capabilities. Desmond, Simone, Damien, Roby and all of them. And even Nora. I'm going to show you how we treat Nora good because Nora ups in the corner. And we still give her glory, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, King, start over the tune because 17 bars of fire we have this month. Start over the rhythm from scratch. Stop it and start over. And
pull up.
Hold on there. Hold on. The video man just come in. Jack Sauer just reached in the studio. Hold on. Hold on. King. Drop me rhythm now. A tune time now. 17 bars of fire. Come on. The beat belongs to DJ Mac and Crash Dummy. The lyrics were written by me. Give me now.
Beat, so it's a banger.
The big show, it's a NTM, TT and GD, and the boss for them. NGB rocket from 9 to 10. Then Cliff come through from the clocks at 10. If Donna Thomas and the Barbie then.
Pull up. What? Wow.
She said pull up. Europe me on a tour next week.
One Barbie.
Yeah?
Pull up.
Europe me on a tour next week. Give me rhythm again.
Drop it again.
As me say, the beat belong to DJ Mac and Crash Dummy. Lyrics belong to me. Hear me now.
Dummy on the beat, so it's a banger.
The big show, it's a NTM, TT and GD, and the boss for them. NGB rocket from 9 to 10. Then Cliff come through from the clocks at 10. If Donna Thomas and the Barbie then, that mean GD name Master Ken. Jeremy and King stronger than all of them. Them this him thump down all of them. Our fans, them are super friends. Them brighter than any other group of friends. When them see we in the street, looking so neat, them a scream and a ball out 4%. Me see the enemy a screw, but poor boo-boo. We coulda never full of hate like you. We a drive past you, we no use rear view. We a step up in a life, what the hell you can do? Them say them a go sue, but sue who? We don't know about you, but me like Sue. Me and Sue, I gon' my brown shoe. Little more in a the dance, we a wine right through.
Pull up. What is that?
No. Stop. I hate that. It's over.
Mad. Yo. What I feel like. Ready? My God. Mad. What you said, John? 17 bars. Pull up. 1 NTM. Yeah. Mad. They can't do like NTM.
Do Hold on there. For the other Desmond fan them. Want to tell me truth this morning? Come here. Where them second out on just a small question. Just a small question. Uno selector can do that?
Yeah.
Uno music man can do that? Tell me. Desmond, do this and beat me. Do this and beat we.
Hey man, come to the front of the class.
Yeah, man. So every week you come and play a tune on Sunday morning Sunday from 1 o'clock till 12 midnight. Cause it's show long, you know. You understand?
Yeah.
So once it's Sunday come, what you're going to do to counter that?
King. Oh my God, the chat is going crazy.
King, now sit down and do it tune again. Drop his rhythm again.
Drop it again.
Yeah.
Dummy on the beat, so it's a banger.
The big show, it's a NTM, TT and GD, and the boss for them. NGB rocket from 9 to 10. Then Cliff come through from the clocks at 10. If Donna Thomas and the Barbie then, that mean GD name Master Ken. Jeremy and King stronger than all of them. Them this him thump down all of them. Our fans, them are super friends. Them brighter than any other group of friends. When them see we in the street, looking so neat, them a scream and a ball out 4%. Me see the enemy a screw, but poor boo-boo. We coulda never full of hate like you. We a drive past you, we no use rear view. We a step up in a life, what the hell you can do? Them say them a go sue, but sue who? Me no know about you, but me like Sue. Me and Sue, we gonna my brown stew. Lick up in the dance, we a wine right through.
Mad. Sick. Let me ask who writes it. They don't know who writes it.
Hold on.
What you mean?
So let me explain. On Easter Monday.
Yeah.
On Easter Monday, I was going to Caymanas Park to watch Ride All Day. Run. And I said, hold on there. Nah, man, I need to drop something on the rhythm. So I played the rhythm on my phone.
Yes.
I'm going to go for my little black book that I showed you yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm going to start writing it. And then when I finished, I called you.
Right.
And told you that I have something.
Yeah.
I called King and told you that I have something. And the rest is history.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you mean it got air, write it?
Yeah. And the one that need to go up now, you know.
Yeah, man.
You're going to have to do it in the studio.
Yeah, man.
George.
Yeah, man. Tell DJ Mark, what go on?
Yeah. The latest one on the rhythm?
Yeah.
Yeah, one John.
Yeah, man. I'm come for the rhythm.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
So, what do I know?
So, Nicky Mac says George need a producer manager.
We have that, man. We have that locked.
And I see Cheryl Hamilton saying mad. Carlene Smith says record that one. Yeah. And Yules Sherwood says wrong job, George. So leave this one and go to the stage, huh?
Go to the stage.
Yeah.
Wow,
Dabnet
right
says
there.
DJ George. And I'm seeing here Josephine saying, George, this is the thing, letting you run out of what? Trying to run out of breath.
No, sir.
Angela says 4% as a gone bad. Yeah. Howard says up. I've seen Pier 1 George in the chat. KG says pull up.
if Said...
and hear not.
Yeah.
Atta says Mackenzie you need for right.
Where am I gonna write, say? Eh? 1 and 2 and 3. we just
oh my goodness.
effectively put the war out of Desmond reach. Hold on. Insend message. Hold on there. Insend message. Hold on.
So here Margot now. Ken with Pier fire emojis.
Hear him now?
Ken.
Hear him now? This is a rum talk, but it bad.
Screenshot that. Screenshot it for him, delete it. Oshoy says raw talent. David says the tune bad.
Hold on. Somebody named Cliff Hughes. I wonder if I him because him loving at the chat, you know. Him say, bad George, me love it. Lick it again. It's all like him.
Yeah. And Sophia says, best start to my weekend. That's right. Avid says, Master Ken shell it.
Master Ken.
Yeah. For sure. And then Student for Life says, Uncle Cliff in the chat. Yeah, it looks so.
Yeah, man. And Shireen Small still about one Desmond in the morning. Which Desmond? Richards?
My goodness.
We just lifted the standard in the war. So all we say is that, all right, the bar gone way up. We're not talking the rum bar. The bar gone way up. So, another rum bar, yeah? So, Mr. Mayor, we don't know we have no part that we can help you. We don't have no smelling salt or nothing, but you need to revive yourself. Somebody fan him there. Yeah,
I beg.
Yeah, under pressure now, under serious pressure. Under serious pressure. Anyway, King.
Oh my goodness.
If Saeed were here, you would say NPT. No. Yeah, that's nice. So you realize I kept my word yesterday. Hold on, King. Fade me down there. Yesterday morning I told you that the comment you made about meeting a fan on the steps, and I told you that I'm going to give me a line for the meat when I say, boy, you know? And then I tell you about the Barbie line, so I have a line for that.
Barbie line strong.
Anyway, Chief, what about Junior Tucker there?
Yeah.
Message to this man? All right, then.
That you haven't been to the school and you're not familiar with the rules, don't test. If you think that you are fit to run my race and you cannot keep up to my pace, don't test.
Somebody said me under pressure like cow foot.
Oh, that was funny. Okay, here's a comment. Dima says, George, NNN wants some coolant.
Yeah.
Platform on fire.
Boy. This is Mackenzie. Morning, Miss Marcia. Morning, how you do? Make sure in sup like a warm tea before you leave the house this morning. Because you need all the support you can get. Going around, couple with Duffy Bungle, cause we don't know. I tell you no, man. So we are bring the heat this morning. I tell you no. Can't answer whatever I tell you no. No, we told you. Well, I know. Utinel Delivanti says, someone don't have no respect for the elders. Poor Uncle Desmond.
I know. Here goes OMS associate says, Mayor Hyde, Farm 6 Sunday.
I see when I run off the show Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Who the on my side? Sonia with Stewart. My producer.
What?
When me and Sonia work every day. No say so, man. No say so, man. Jeremy is giving us a troubling report. Sonia Stewart?
I can't believe
is in the mayor's camp?
I can't believe it.
No,
Sonia needs to explain herself.
Cliff, we need to have a meeting. We need to have a meeting with the staff. Cliff, we need to have a staff meeting because something right.
Oh my goodness. And Josephine says, George, treat the elderly with respect. And David Barrett says, George, I want the clash.
The clash go up, man.
Go up, man.
You think we do all of this for the clash now? Come down. You understand? As we say, we just raise the bar. Yeah, man. We raise the bar. 17 of them we raise. 17 bars, we raise them this morning. So, come true, my G.
Hit it! Na 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 na.
Oh wait, Cliff declare it?
He hasn't.
Hold on, the king. Pull up.
Can we get him on the line?
See if I can get Cliffo there. As a certain minister called him Cliffo.
It's an opportune time.
We could hear from Cliffo because...
can we get him on the line?
Because you know.
Yes.
Given the rise of NTM to be the big show,
yes.
Right? When certain figures were released in a certain meeting last year, him never pleased, kind of say, ratted for the first time. Me and number one. So he might want to side with Desmond for bring me down.
Oh,
but at the same time, children, this is not the right way to say it, but I have to say it for this purpose. At the same time, I give you the teachment.
Yeah.
So like when I give you the teachment now, he might go proud say, Anyway, be here saying up on the phone. Good morning, Mr. Hughes, how you do?
Good morning, George.
How you do?
I am fine.
You're here tuned this morning, sir?
But you're not draw me out, you know.
Well, Cliff, you're not a coward man, you know. You have to declare your allegiance this morning.
You did very well in that mix.
Yes.
Yes? NTM, Ghana lead.
Yes.
There you go.
You know, Ghana lead.
Yes.
But the music professor
yes.
will respond on Sunday.
He will.
He will respond.
You said we will. Oh God, Cliff.
Cliff, you're ups.
No.
You said we first, Freudian slip.
No, I did not. I said he will respond on Sunday. I know he's the professor. You're the wannabe.
Yeah, you're better.
You're obstinate, sir.
Cliff.
Yeah, ups.
Yeah.
I am not calling it yet.
Cliff, you're upon your machine. You're upon your machine, Cliff. You're cut two side.
No. Yes, I have to be in the middle. Yes, I have to be in the middle. I have to split the justice. Yes.
Boy, it could sound like a 60-40 though, Cliff. 60 for Desmond.
No.
Yeah.
No. It is a neck and neck between NTM and the professor, but it seems like NTM is beginning to gather steam.
All right, sir. We're not troubling you anymore. Thank you for your time this morning, sir.
All right.
Look more.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:50.
JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union offers financial solutions for every stage in your life: savings, auto loans, mortgages, and more. The Temperature by JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is
25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Upgrade your home or business with Cameron Industries and Joinery Limited. Explore a range of termite-resistant plywood, quartz, solid surface, and granite. Experience timeless elegance with our cedar doors, crafted from premium cedar stock, kiln-dried for durability and beauty. For quality and craftsmanship, visit us at the Trade Center Kingston 10 or Hatfield Mandeville. Call 876-963-0628-30. Cameron Industries and Joinery Limited. Transform your space today.
That time of the morning now, when we get street smart with Ludlow McLean. Hey to you, Ludlow. Paging Ludlow. Trying to get Ludlow on the line. Can we get up? Oh, we do have him. Good morning to you, Ludlow.
Yeah, morning, entertainers. Morning, NTN.
Good morning.
And I heard Cliff earlier on, but it really sound good. But I don't come by some more though. Come in, and up there. Bright conditions, and I'm happy to tell you that at this time, it's really smooth sailing into after 3. If you're coming up Maxfield Avenue and this is northbound, going on to South Oden Avenue, not so busy. It's building though, and even coming down Constance Street, that's where you have more traffic, Constance Street Road into Avenue Square. What about Malines Road? You'll be surprised too, all the way up to Eastwood Park Road, Malines Road, free flowing. And just as you get towards that intersection to go across, slight build but nothing to be worried about. Tree Road in its entirety is flowing beautifully all the way down to connect with Oxford Road. And if you're on Oxford Road now, it's pretty good going to in both directions from the Tree Road end, Polo Road end, and going up Knoxford Boulevard. Good, superb, no problems there. So let's see what happens during the course of the morning. And again, it's bright and sunny conditions. It's over to you, George and Tona.
Thank you so much, Ludlow, for that first report of Street Smart with Ludlow McLean. Up next, a word of the day. And the word of the day is spelled P-H-L-E-G-M-A-T-I-C, spelled P-H-L-E-G-M-A-T-I-C.
Phlegmatic. Phlegmatic. Phlegmatic.
Phlegmatic is your word of the day. Phlegmatic, and it means not easily excited to action or display of emotion, sluggish, self-possessed, calm, or composed. Phlegmatic is your word of the day. To use it in a sentence, he is almost phlegmatic on the subject of his dealings with Hollywood. Phlegmatic is your word of the day. Up next are features at the top of the hour, the news.
Is your child a completely different person at home than they are in other social settings? Your child may have selective mutism. Selective mutism is often misunderstood and can be misdiagnosed, but early detection and treatment are crucial for better outcomes down the road. In Parenting Tips today, signs that your child may have selective mutism. Selective mutism was always believed to be rare. However, more children may meet the criteria of a diagnosis than previously thought, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Child psychologist Dr. Kristen Eastman says in the past, children who were thought to be just shy or defiant for not talking may actually meet the criteria for selective mutism. She says shy kids may not volunteer to read aloud to the class, but when they need to do things, they can. The child psychologist says the main difference is that shy children can still navigate everyday tasks, whereas children with selective mutism cannot. What does it look like? A child with selective mutism may not communicate in select social settings, often school, but they can comfortably talk in at least one other place, typically home. Both girls and boys can be affected, though the condition tends to impact girls more than boys. The average age of onset is under age 5, but it's often more evident when a child enters a structured social setting such as preschool or daycare. For example, children with selective mutism are overcome with anxiety at the prospect of giving a book report, saying hello to a classmate, or talking with their coach at soccer practice. So they are rendered frozen and unable to initiate or respond. Because of this, their experience at school and in other social settings may be hindered. Also, teachers may be unable to assess them and they may struggle socially. Selective mutism can look different depending on the child. Some children can only talk to their immediate family and no one else outside of the home, even extended family. Others may talk to relatives they see more regularly and not to those they don't know as well. Some may talk to other children, but not to adults outside of their home. And others may talk to their teacher when it's one-on-one, but freeze up in the larger group setting when others are within earshot. Be on the lookout for these signs of selective mutism. A frozen or unresponsive manner. Rigid, stiff as a board, body posture. Expressionless, flat or deer in headlights face. Slow to respond in a social situation. Clinginess with parents when entering into social settings. It's important for parents to trust their instincts. If you feel like your child is acting very differently in select social settings outside of your home or with select people, it is important to talk with your doctor. Dr. Eastman says the earlier you can make a diagnosis and start intervening, the better the prognosis long term. That's it for Parenting Tips today.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
Entertaining at home has become more and more informal. It is more important today to provide a cozy and pleasant atmosphere where people who are invited know each other than to be overly concerned about who sits where. This is Lifestyle Pages on who is invited to teas, funeral repasts, formal and informal dinners. Nowadays in Jamaica, it has become very popular to have a repast as the funeral or memorial service is over. In times gone by, a repast used to be a formal dinner, but like tea time, it can be as simple or as elaborate as one's budget allows. The venue does not have to be at home. A church hall or hotel can suffice. The repast or tea can be a small gathering or a large number of friends and relatives of the deceased. Repasts and teas are usually held between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Refreshments can be quite elaborate and may include a salad, sandwiches, dinner rolls, chicken and/or roast beef may be served. Beverages, fancy cakes, cookies, or cupcakes are usually served as desserts. Buffet service is usually used. I'm Valerie, and those were Lifestyle Pages.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Jamaica, let's make road safety a priority. Slow down, stay focused. Remember, every life matters. The time brought to you by the JIS is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
One nation, one purpose, to rebuild stronger than before. Build it to last with tools and equipment from National Supply. The temperature by National Supply is...
25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news today, Friday, April 10, 2026, Education Ministry welcomes timeline for relocation of persons currently being sheltered at schools. Youth Advocacy Group says the JTA president is duty-bound to say what he knows about alleged sexual activity in shelter schools. Energy Ministry says potential investors are beating a path to Jamaica amid news of the possibility of oil find. And in international news, IMF boss says ongoing Middle East conflict will scar the global economy.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon is welcoming the announcement from the local government ministry of a definitive date by which shelter occupants in schools will be relocated.
The ministry is encouraged by the recently announced May 8 deadline for the relocation of the remaining shelterees. And we thank Minister Mackenzie and his team for the work they're doing to provide housing, decent housing for these shelterees. The ministry reiterates that its focus remains firmly on the safety and well-being of children.
Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, Education Minister. The local government ministry says only 8 schools are currently functioning as shelters, housing a total of 81 displaced people. It says the priority for relocation will be given to Petersfield High School in Westmoreland, which has approximately half of all shelter occupants. The ministry says a range of housing solutions are being deployed to support the move. These include the provision of modular housing units, the payment of rent, and other tailored measures based on the needs of individual families. The Jamaica Youth Advocacy Network, JAN, believes the JTA president, Mark Malaver, is duty-bound to present to the police any information relating to the allegations he publicly shared. Executive Director of JAN, Shanique Bowden, was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Thursday.
The prescribed persons who have a responsibility by law, if they're aware of these incidents, to report them. So if the JTA president knows which school it is and knows who the perpetrators are, it is his responsibility by law to let the relevant authorities know that so that they can investigate and address the matter.
On Tuesday, the JTA president said he had received reports of sexually inappropriate behavior among occupants of school shelters in clear view of students. He, however, refused to make any formal report of the alleged incident or incidents and declined to identify the school or schools. He has since doubled down on his position, arguing that the Education Ministry has no legal authority to investigate such matters. Bowden says his stance is irresponsible.
If these allegations are true, we need the information to be presented to the relevant authorities so that they can investigate and address the matters promptly. It's unclear to us, and based on the reports that we're seeing, when exactly these situations may have happened. The timeline seems to be quite loose and fast as to when it could have potentially the issue would have arisen if that's the case. We are not acting with enough urgency to address it. And so this idea of keeping whatever was told in confidence at the expense of our children's well-being is incredibly irresponsible and a cause for great concern on our end.
Shanique Bowden, Executive Director of JAN. Meanwhile, Assistant Chief Education Officer for the Education Ministry's Guidance and Counseling Division, Kenisi Davidson, says the law requires that situations which put children at risk are to be reported.
The law says if we suspect that our children are in danger, it is therefore critical for us to report the matter to those legal authorities, to include the SOCA, especially in the case of sexual activities that could predispose a child to danger. It has to be reported, not be brought in a public sphere, but reported using all those mechanisms that are in place for that kind of report.
She says any report that comes to the ministry would be transferred to the relevant entities.
And what the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information would expect is that these people who are prescribed persons by law, to include principals, teachers, all report would go directly to the offices of the Children's Registry, Child Protection Family Services agencies. But we would also want to hasten to do what we can to secure the well-being of any child that is presumed to be placed in a situation where harm could come to that child.
Kenisi Davidson, Assistant Chief Education Officer for the Education Ministry's Guidance and Counseling Division. She was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Thursday. The Energy Minister Daryl Vaz says there's been a surge in investor interest following news of a potential oil find off the island's south coast.
These results, which are scientific results, will make it that much easier for United Oil and Gas to seek partners, and those partners obviously will be big oil and gas giants in the United States and across the world. In speaking to United Oil and Gas today, he has already indicated to me that there has been a huge interest, and he actually will be traveling to the United States and other places to meet with these potential investors.
On Wednesday, British-based oil and gas exploration and development company United Oil and Gas reported findings indicating there could be an active petroleum system in the country. The assessment is based on results from an oil and gas survey conducted under license in the vast Walton Morant block. Minister Vaz says the next step will involve a capital-intensive drilling program to determine whether the commodity exists in commercially viable quantities. He says United should have no problem attracting the requisite investment for the undertaking.
They would have started at a 10% chance when they started and got the license. They moved to a 20% possibility and probability. And prior to these new results, they will probably be at the highest of any level of confidence in potential investments to go to the next step.
And if you could put that in a percentage, what would it be? Because we moved from 10% to 20%.
Well, I would say, based on my discussions, 30% is a very, 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 very reasonable and conservative estimate, but in the line of this business, it is considered very high. If the drilling is successful, then it will require more capital to drill more wells, because I think it's up to 14 wells that you're looking at.
Meanwhile, Minister Vaz indicates that should a major oil discovery be confirmed, he may reconsider his announcement to retire from active politics in this term.
this could be a huge game changer for Jamaica in the medium term. I want to stress that because if they were to raise the funds within the next few months, the earliest that drilling could take place for a single well would be between the end of 27 and 2028. If the Prime Minister remains confident in me, I would never leave the country at a critical juncture like that. I would have to reconsider my retirement to carry this to fruition. But just to say that, I don't want anybody to get the impression that the well going to drill next week and we're going to get a result in 3 months like what happened with the exploration.
Darrell Vaz, Energy Minister, he was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Thursday. The volume of past due loans in the country in the first month of 2026 ballooned by $30 billion. That's according to a report published by the Bank of Jamaica. Mahiri Stewart tells us more.
As at the end of January, past due loans stood at $84 billion. That's up from $50 billion in December 2025. A past due loan is defined as one on which no payment is made for between 1 and 3 months. According to the BOJ, loans to the tourism industry accounted for the bulk of the past due amounts for the January period, totaling $27 billion. That's up from $3 billion recorded at the end of December 2025, a 9-fold increase in a single month. The BOJ says the figure has surpassed the COVID-19 record of $80 billion in April 2020. Past due loans are considered an early warning signal of financial stress. If left unresolved, they often migrate into the more serious non-performing category. According to the central bank, the deterioration in tourism industry repayments reflects the significant hit from Hurricane Melissa. Meanwhile, the non-bank financial institutions have also fallen behind on their loan payments and in larger amounts. The BOJ data show the segment moved from $249 million in past due amounts to $8 billion month on month. In the meantime, non-performing loans, those unserviced for more than 3 months, slightly increased over the period. They inched from $44 billion to $45 billion. By contrast, the value of individual and personal loans in both the past due and non-performing categories fell for the period. In the non-performing category, they declined from nearly $31 billion to just under $30 billion. In the past due category, household and personal loans fell from $26.8 billion to $24.9 billion. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Mahiri. There's been a 9% increase in major crime in Manchester since the start of the year. That's according to data recorded in the corresponding period in 2024. Head of the Manchester Police, Superintendent Kerry Duncan, provided the figures during Thursday's monthly meeting of the Manchester Municipal Corporation.
What has challenged us was those incidents over in Comfort, Mayday space that we had earlier in the year where we had some land settlements, where we had some persons unfortunately being killed. Since those incidents, I want to say that we have implemented several strategies in the space and they seem to be working and working pretty well. We have not seen any major incidents over in that space since the last incident where we had the double homicide. We have had a special team that is designated over in that space. We refer to it as proximity policing, where persons within that space can reach out to police within 2 minutes of anything happening in that space. And we're seeing where it is in fact working.
Data from the police's serious crimes report show that 10 people were murdered in Manchester up to April 4 this year. This represents 5 more than the number recorded in the corresponding period in 2024. Shootings have increased by 29%, robberies have gone up 50%, and break-ins have increased by 6%. Superintendent Duncan says despite the increases, the police have seized more illegal weapons and ammunition since the start of the year.
Our team in Manchester have recovered some 8 prohibited weapons and over 200 rounds of ammunition. And that is up from last year where we recovered at this time 5 illegal firearms. There are some initiatives that we have in place that can't speak about right now. Looking at those murders on the land settlement side and the Old England. So apart from that, having characterized all of that in that space, now what we're seeing emerging now are the domestic related issues in the space. So there's certainly a need to have those interventions done.
That's Superintendent Kerry Duncan, head of the Manchester Police. Meanwhile, the police in Manchester are tracing the source of a viral video showing the arrest of a JDF soldier accused of killing his girlfriend. The soldier is 27-year-old Damanis Tyrone Williamson. He's been charged with the murder of 29-year-old Tanzania Dunkley, a technician of 3 chains in the parish. It's reported that on Friday, April 3, Dunkley was stabbed at her home multiple times by the soldier. The soldier then turned himself in to the police. In the video, Williamson, the soldier, is seen with a knife in his hand and is heard pleading with the police to kill him. Commanding officer for the Manchester Police, Superintendent Kerry Duncan, addressed the matter at Thursday's sitting of the Manchester Municipal Corporation.
I want to also add my commendations to the team for the restraint that they exercise in making that arrest. Right? The video was taken. We are not sure at this point who took the video, but I can tell you it's a matter that is under investigation, because if we find that it is a member of our team, then it's a clear breach of our policy, and certainly we'll be taking some action where it is concerned.
Superintendent Kerry Duncan, commanding officer for the Manchester Police. Williamson is set to appear in the Manchester Parish Court later this Friday morning. The Jamaica Fire Brigade is investigating the circumstances of a fire which claimed the life of a 14-year-old girl in St. John's Gardens, Spanish Town in St. Catherine on Wednesday. The teen's brother was injured in the incident and is being treated at hospital. The incident occurred sometime after 4 p.m. The Fire Brigade's divisional head for St. Catherine, Superintendent Dennis Lyon, provided the details.
We dispatched 1 unit to the scene. When the unit was on its way, and based on the volume of smoke seen emitting into the atmosphere, they requested additional help, and another unit was dispatched. So both units got on the scene. We got into operation, and when the fire was brought under control, it was a 5-bedroom dwelling house, and we implement cooling down measures. We came upon the body of a 14-year-old female in one of the bedrooms. Her brother, we were told, was transmitted to the hospital before our arrival. And at the moment, we are conducting an investigation into where the fire originated and the cause.
Superintendent Dennis Lyon, St. Catherine Divisional Head, the Jamaica Fire Brigade's Divisional Head in St. Catherine. He was speaking with our news center on Thursday. Regional news: Guyana's oil-driven economic expansion is not only accelerating at a record pace, but is now being underpinned by massive revenue inflows, placing the country firmly ahead of its regional peers. This amid sluggish growth and persistent structural constraints in the wider Latin American and Caribbean region. That's according to the April 2026 edition of the World Bank's Latin America and the Caribbean Economic Update. The publication says Guyana remains the standout performer in the region, with projected growth of 16.3% in 2026, continuing a multi-year trend of extraordinary expansion. It says this double-digit growth is forecast to continue in 2027 to 23.5%. The report says the oil-driven expansion of Guyana is widening divergence relative to economies that depend heavily on tourism. Cuba's President Miguel Diaz-Canel says he'll not resign under U.S. pressure in his first TV interview with an American broadcaster. Diaz-Canel told NBC News on Thursday that Cuba is a free sovereign state that has self-determination and independence. He says his country is not subject to the designs of the United States. He criticized the Trump administration for implementing hostile policy against Cuba, noting the U.S. has no moral authority to demand anything from his people. The 65-year-old says the concept of revolutionaries giving up and stepping down is not part of his people's psyche. Further afield, the head of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, is warning that the Iran war will permanently scar the global economy, even if a durable peace deal in the Middle East can be reached. In a speech delivered as the ceasefire and the conflict threatened to unravel, Kristalina Georgieva says the scarring effects caused by the war would mean slower global growth this year than first anticipated. Georgieva says if the conflict did not begin 6 weeks ago, the IMF would have upgraded its global growth outlook for 2026. She says even its most hopeful scenario involves a growth downgrade. In the speech intended as a curtain raiser for the IMF's annual spring meetings in Washington next week, Georgieva says there is heightened uncertainty over the depth of the global slowdown triggered by the war. That's the news.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:17.
Rent or buy your hurricane supplies from Total Tools. Visit 102 Main Street, Oterius, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston 5, or Lot C6, Drax Hall, St. Anne's Bay. The temperature brought to you by Total Tools Jamaica is
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Hey yo, listen up. Don't wait for the symptoms start show. HIV test free. Make sure you know. Yo. Me take my test. Me get the news. Me take my meds. We can't lose. Family there, support there too. We strong, we bold life, I live right through. Live bold, test early. Test the HIV. Know your status smooth surely. Me take my test. Me get the news. Me take my meds. We can't lose. Live bold, test free testing is available at health centers island-wide. A message by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Morning after morning, you've made Nationwide 90 FM part of your routine. So let's take this connection one step closer. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club and be part of it officially on Patreon.
Family. Family.
Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Ludlow McLean. Seems to be having a little problem with his bird this morning. Not getting a clean connection. Jermaine is working frantically to try to establish same. I heard somebody, I saw somebody in the chat before the news say that the road, I don't know where in the corporate area they was, but it was clean like an exercise book leaf. And halfway through I'm seeing from, so this is, usually Jermaine gives us this shot when when the light is red for those going in the direction of Trafalgar Road, coming off Waterloo Road. And it always part of. But this, this road gives a misleading picture of the traffic situation in the King because it's always crowded here. No matter what time of day, this Waterloo onto Trafalgar where it intersects with Hope Road, always bunched up the vehicular traffic. I hear that Ludlow has been found. Morning, my friend. Good morning.
Morning, sir. Morning to the listeners. I don't know, technical difficulties. I don't know. But it's bright and sunny. And still, George and listeners, the roadways are not too bad, yeah? Even coming on Red Hills Road, normally busy at this time. Elizabeth Avenue going across to Constantine Road, Mayor Brown's Corner, those areas normally congested. And even going through Charlton Road, going to Charlton Avenue onto Charlton Road, the movement is pretty good. Roseberry Drive, that takes you into Arcada, and Arcada Drive coming down. Russell Lights, there's a little bit up there coming towards the intersection there with Barbican Road, but generally it's not too bad. You can make your way steadily across to Barbican Square, East Kings Road, not too bad either. What your challenge is going to be later during the course of the morning is going through Ligony by way of Monroe Road or to get up to Matilda's Corner there. As I said, there are some routes I would suggest. If you're coming from New Kingston, don't go on Old Hope Road to try to go to Matilda's Corner. Just go straight across to Hopefield Avenue, go across to Hope Road, and then you can make it across to East Kingshouse Road, Paddington Terrace, and then you go across to Hope, Charlemont, Hope Pass. So those are better areas if you want to go bypass it and go up into the Papine areas. But I would say I'm really pleased with how the movement is going on today in terms of vehicular flow. I have no doubt later during the course of the morning things will get a little bit hectic. And it's a Friday, you know what happens Friday, the traffic is normally heavy during the course of the afternoon. Unless hopefully there's no more rain, because that also causes traffic, heavy vehicular flow. Anyway, enjoy yourselves, have a great weekend at Street Smart. Your safety is all concerned. Over to you, George.
Thank you, Ludlow. What we're showing on screen right now, listeners, viewers, Montego Bay has come to the party. Them get fed up of me a customer morning time say, big Moby, yeah? Have no cameras. So there's a nice one, tilted a little bit down, but we're not complaining. So Moby has come to the party with a camera where we can see. For the Moby people, which part of Moby it is? We don't know. Yeah, the obvious thing to say is Sam Sharp Square, but we don't know. We don't want to say why, so you turn people and go and don't know a place and I misrepresent. So somebody from Mobi, tell us, where is this that we're showing right now on the screen? Let me see in the chat, King. Don't pull it up yet, King. Don't pull it up yet. Let me see if anybody has responded. Where in Montego Bay is this camera pointing to? Who can tell us? I don't see anything yet. But they have come to the party. So them say, George, we stop rank with them. Yeah? Is Sam Sharp Square? All right. King say is Sam Sharp Square. And the NCB, ABM. Somebody said St. James Street. St. James Street. Let me see if it pan further, right? Yeah. Sam Sharp. Yeah, man. Them say a Sam Sharp. Them say Sam Sharp. Them say a Sam Sharp. Them say a Sam Sharp. All right. Montego Bay, welcome. Mr. Mayor, Richard Vernon. Good morning, Mayor. Your city has finally registered itself and registered its presence on the live cameras so we can show Jamaicans and Jamaicans in the diaspora what is happening in our major towns. And it was always criminal that we're talking about major towns, and Mobi was absent because you can't get more major than Mobi anywhere in the Caribbean. So welcome, Mobi. Well done. I hope it stays there, all right? And it's good quality camera. So let's see how it works out from here. Thank you. Powered by Spirits of Jamaica. Yeah, man, give them plug, man. Excellent. Nice and clean. Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. So with Mobe in the house, we're looking at Mandeville now, Tana.
Mandeville and Junction.
Down at your place, yes. Yeah. We need something. Do we have a Linstead camera, King? So we have Maypen. Well, I think we have Old Harbour.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we need Mandeville. Come on, no man. Oh God, I want to make start beat now. Me beat Mobe and get result. But I start beat Mandeville now every morning. What's happening, Mandeville? Give us something, man.
Yeah.
Give us something, man. Junction.
And there's so many people of influence with resources.
Yeah. Mr. Wayne.
So can't put up.
Mas Wayne. Mas Chen. What? Give me a little camera dog about devil. Anyway.
Turning our attention now to our discussion segment, the front page. So the Incorporated Master Builders Association of Jamaica, IMAJ, says Jamaica's push to build back better after Hurricane Melissa risk falling short under the proposed NARA legislation. The bill to give life to NARA, the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, was tabled in the House of Representatives last month. The proposed legislation seeks to establish a dedicated body to manage the post-Hurricane Melissa reconstruction and long-term resilience building. But in a release on Wednesday, the IMAJ says, upon review, the bill does not match that promise. It quoted a column published by Works Minister Robert Morgan on April 7, in which he sought to justify the need for a dedicated reconstruction authority following Hurricane Melissa. IMAJ says, contrary to the minister's claims, the bill lacks transparency, coordination, accountability, and resilience. It says the bill does not contain a dedicated procurement regime suited to post-disaster reconstruction. Rather, the IMAJ says it gives the authority broad procurement powers without specifying which rules apply, what publication timelines govern emergency awards, what oversight applies to high-value direct contracts, or what conflict of interest provisions binds its officers. Furthermore, the IMAJ says the bill lacks details about local industry participation, how projects will be packaged to allow Jamaican contractors to compete, apprenticeship and training requirements, nor domestic material sourcing. We're now being joined by President of the Incorporated Master Builders Association of Jamaica, Richard Mullings, and the Minister of Works, Robert Morgan. Gentlemen, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
This sounds like Richard. Minister Morgan also on the line?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
All right, great. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. Aside from what I've said in this brief, Richard, to our listeners, have these concerns been brought to the attention of Minister Morgan or anyone else in government?
Hi, good morning. Hey, thank you guys for having me. I know that you guys are in the job of media, and the more interesting and adversarial is the better it sells. But let me be very clear. The Master Builders Association wants this bill to go through. We want it in its best form, and we are supporting the reconstruction process to the max. We want constructive dialogue, and we're not as adversarial as you would believe. Yes, I mean, we're a bit less than pleased that there was not more consultation. Ahead of the tabling of the bill, we were consulted. We didn't get a chance to give our input up front. And as a result,
are you saying you were consulted or you were not consulted?
We were not consulted until before the bill was tabled. No, we didn't have direct consultation in the bill. So we wish we had that chance, and unfortunately now we're doing it in a knee-jerk response, which could have been a bit better if we had that chance to give some input while it was being put together.
Mm-hmm. So what we've laid out here, which came in your release, these are things that you have put to the government now about issues you have with the NARA bill.
Yes, we put it in a press release, but
outside of the press release, Richard, have you sent it to, for example, the Works Minister, anyone else in government about the gaps you're seeing in the NARA bill?
No, we're literally doing a position paper that we will submit to the ministry for a more detailed review. That's why press release with a quick response to the minister's article.
And Minister Morgan, the IMAJ has itemized a number of gaps they're seeing in terms of the bill not addressing matters of accountability, transparency, coordination, resilience. Have you gotten a chance to look at their press release, note what they have said, their criticism of the bill? What say you on that?
Thank you very much. Well, it was your producer who shared the concerns with me. To be honest, the president did call me yesterday, and I expressed to him that the government is not averse to having a conversation with the master builders, and if they have concerns about the bill, they can write them and send them to me, and I will pass them on to the legislators and the government for consideration. A lot of the concerns that the IMAJ has are responded to in a very logical way. For example, oversight. Mm-hmm. We have adopted the concept of the previous oversight bodies that dealt with the economy. And now we have JAMROC. Previously we used to have the EPOC, which was a consensus-based oversight body that analyzed what we were doing to maintain our economic credibility. And that's the same thing that JAMROC is going to do, where you're going to have persons of repute from the industry. And I told the president that the master builders can request to be a member of JAMROC so that they can be a part of the oversight. We're not here to hide anything. And you cannot hide anything when expending government funds. The Auditor General is a constitutional body that is empowered to audit any government spending. So the government does not have to say to the Auditor General, come and audit us. The Auditor General has a responsibility to do that. So too does the Integrity Commission. I remember in a previous case where we wrote to the Integrity Commission to audit something. And their response was, you cannot tell us what or what not to audit. We have a legal authority to audit whatever we please. So the argument that it lacks transparency falls flat because we also have a parliamentary oversight responsibility. The bill is being tabled in public. It is not being surreptitiously imposed on the country. And the fact that I, as a minister and the head of the entity, along with yourself as journalists, are discussing it, demonstrates the willingness of the government to hear what the concerns are and also to deal with it. The last point I want to make is the issue about the centralization of power. We cannot, on one hand, be critical of how we have done things and the bureaucracy, and Mr. Mullins himself would be, as a member of the industry, would be saying that things take too long and there's a kind of inefficiency in the system. And when we try to fix the inefficiency by ensuring that there is direct accountability to those who make the rules and causing those who make the rules and those who implement the rules to be accountable for what they do or do not do, then it is said that it is too politically focused. We are the ones as politicians who are criticized, who are asked to resign when things do not work. But yet still our persons are attempting to tie our hands from causing things to work. And we have taken on this responsibility of being accountable to the people of Jamaica for the recovery of Melissa. And the bill demonstrates that level of accountability.
Hold the point, gentlemen. We have to take the break.
Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life, while we feel safe at night. Jamaica live good.
Jamaica, stop the killing and give up the guns. Just live good now.
The time brought to you by the Ministry of National Security and Peace is
7:34.
Upgrade your drive with Hyundai and Scotiabank. 4.99% interest, 0 fees, and 1-year insurance free. Choose from the Hyundai Venue, Palisade, Tucson, or Creta. Visit Kingston or Montego Bay showrooms. The temperature by Hyundai is
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Every day, Rosie has a glass of fruit drink with breakfast, an energy drink on the way to work, a flavored water with lunch, and 2 glasses of soda with dinner, which adds up to more than 50 teaspoons of sugar a day. And all that extra sugar could bring on obesity. Are we drinking ourselves sick? 71% of Jamaicans support a tax on sugary drinks. Help tackle obesity and protect our children's future. A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica.
The NARA bill has some deficiencies, says IMAJ. They've raised those publicly and now they're preparing to submit to the ministry and the government the specific things that they want to see added, because they say that, listen, they want it to work, but their concern is that as the bill stands, given what was tabled in Parliament, there are deficiencies that could compromise the stated aims and objectives. The IMAJ President, Richard Mullins, is here. So too is the Works Minister, Robert Morgan. Now, Richard, here's the thing. We went based on the language used and the points raised by the IMAG, and that's all we put into the report. So I just want to let the public know that we made no attempt to add or subtract to anything you said. We just reflected the position of the IMAG, and if it comes across as trenchant, that's not the fault of the journalists. It's just the fact that the IMAG was speaking firmly, as it should, about what it sees as things that can compromise the objectives that everybody wants to see accomplished. Anyway, let me get some details now, Richard, because you say that the bill does not contain, the bill lacks, well, forget the transparency coordination issues. Those have been spoken to. You can respond to those. But I want to get into the part about the lacking of details about local industry participation, because I note that the IMAG has been very strong about local participation in major projects. NARA, what NARA presides over, is going to be huge. And you're saying we don't see anything that satisfies us that local industry participation is foremost in the execution of these plans. Give us some more on that.
All right, I got to speak very quickly. I'll try to make it clear. I have to answer the minister very quickly. What we're doing is going to be something, I think, new and different to most of our construction efforts before, right? So we can't rely on the standard after the fact accountability mechanisms. We have to look at models that were done with other reconstruction authorities. If you look at the Queensland Reconstruction Authority, they created a simultaneous inspectorate that oversaw the reconstruction. If you look at the Peru model, they had something called concurrent auditing, but they had a concurrent system where they monitored, they audited this thing in real time. And in a lot of the reconstruction authorities in modern times, what they have is a real-time transparency portal where people could see how the money was being spent, what was being procured, and issues that arose real time. We have to think differently. If we're going to do something new and we're going to give this awesome power, it's going to come with some way that we enforce awesome responsibility. So I have to make that quick response. Now, when we talk about local participation, Master Bill is strident and it's very clear that we are for local participation and we want our development, not just of our physical infrastructure, but of the people that have to be employed in these, have to utilize the physical infrastructure, have to maintain it after it's finished being constructed and handed over to the people. So we don't shy away from one of our significant lobbies. We don't see any specific wording in the legislation for local participation. We don't see any specific wording for knowledge transfer. And we think that's critical if you're talking about something that's going to be a generational development effort.
Mm-hmm.
How are we at the end of it going to make sure that people who have to maintain the infrastructure we're constructing have the ability, the capacity to take it on from there going forward?
But question for you, Richard. None of the things that IMAJ raises in the release are contentious in my view. They're reasonable. But would you expect legislation to talk about apprenticeship, training requirements, domestic material sourcing, and the knowledge transfer? Would that not be the regulations attached to the law itself, not legislation itself?
You know, typically, there's nothing wrong with what you're saying, but unfortunately, I have to point you to that. We have a building code that's been on the books for years, and there's not been one. The regulations are still not published or gazetted. And so we're going to do this this very, very awesome legislation, very powerful, and we are expecting some clear commitment up front.
So, Minister, these things that Richard Mullings is calling for, yeah? I read them. The master bill. Very well. Your group, you're here, so you're representing them, so I'm twinning them, but it's all right. So, Minister, these are things that properly would go into regulations, but he's making the good point, the strong point, that we're weak with developing regulations attendant to and in support of the legislation we pass. And that's why he's pushing for things that really ought to be in regulations. He's saying, let's write it in the legislation because we're not sure that you'll get around to writing regulations anyway. And that could cause us to not have the things that are important where the work of NARA is concerned. Your response?
Okay, so thank you very much, George. And I want to thank Tona and Mr. Mullins for allowing me to participate in the conversation. Let me take them. You made 3 important points, and I'll speak to your question at the back end of my response. You raised the transparency template of Queensland and Peru. I've been to Peru, and I have sat down for 5 days in seminars by the Peruvians. Jamaica's accountability framework is more robust and more transparent as it is now than Peruvian transparency framework. Peru does not have an integrity commission. Peru does not have an auditor general like we do in Jamaica that has almost a universal power to go into any program. So we already have a strong and robust accountability framework, and I think it would be an indictment on the government to seek to add additional layers to that, in a sense saying that our accountability framework has failed when everybody globally is saying that we have one of the best. The other thing, local participation. In crowding in investment, you cannot legislate that, let's say, local companies must. what you can say from a policy perspective is when you do your international tenders, because you have to tender
these contracts under the bill. Minister, you there? I think we lost him as usual. Michelle, can you... Minister, are you there? Michelle, can you make that reconnection? Is Richard Mullins still with us?
I'm still there.
Yeah, we lost him. Yeah, we lost him. So until he returns, he makes the point that yes, he was in Peru. It was much publicized, and he's saying that our accountability framework is much stronger than that of the South American nation, and therefore, if you use that as a straight example, and with it being internationally acclaimed, the framework that includes the Auditor General and the Integrity Commission, there's no need for an additional layer of bureaucracy. Your response?
If you notice, that was very clear. My point was, we are used to accountability as an after-the-fact mechanism. When the project is finished, we're reactive and we said what has gone wrong, and we make a big show of trotting out the guilty. But what is? Can we look at?
But within this, Richard, there is
real-time transparency. A portal dedicated to making the public buy-in, have trust in the system by seeing what is happening live reporting of what is procured, what is going on with the project, regular progress reports published up front and not after the fact.
But wouldn't you say, Richard, that within the provisions that the Auditor General has, her team is able to do a real-time audit while a project is going on?
As they did post-Melissa.
Correct.
And I'm saying, why don't we, for this awesome bill, make that integral?
But the minister just said that the government has no power to direct the Auditor General or the Integrity Commission when and how and where. So that's a question not for the legislators, but for the Auditor General's department to say, Madam Monroe Ellis, is your team going to do this work real time or post the event as it usually does? We think at the IMAJ that it would be more useful, there would be more utility in doing this thing real time, as you did with the provision of relief supplies post Hurricane Melissa. A real time audit is necessary. That's not a question for the government based on how the Auditor General works. It's a question for the Auditor General.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you on that.
Okay.
I'm going to say that the government does have, when it's authority, to build into the bill or to build into regulation some reporting mechanism. I can't say that it has to be that they instruct the Auditor General, but I am not convinced that they cannot build in a reporting mechanism.
All right. Hold the line there, Richard. We're going to come back from this break and then we'll hear the minister on that and him finishing up the answers to the questions and getting to the one I posed to him. More after the break.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
7:45.
Hawkeye is protecting homes, businesses, and communities with trusted security solutions. The temperature by Hawkeye, securing what matters most, is
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Remember the first time, the first glance, the first touch. This Easter weekend, rediscover that feeling at Couples Resorts. Escape to a couples-only all-inclusive paradise with gourmet dine-in, premium cocktails, and unforgettable ocean views, all included. Jamaican residents can celebrate your Easter escape with exclusive rates from $405 USD per night, valid through April 30th. Visit couples.com/residents. Couples Resorts, like the first time, every time.
back with us talking about the NARA bill. Everybody wants it to work, and so the contribution from the Integrated Master Builders Association of Jamaica is to make recommendations that they believe will make it more efficient and will serve the stakeholders and interests of all connected parties. The Minister of Works is the one responsible for who has a significant role to play where NARA's implementation is concerned, and he's here to justify the approach taken by the government and to also take on the suggestions that the IMAJ will make that are reasonable. Minister Morgan, you were making a point before we lost you.
Thank you very much, George. You cannot legislate participation. Our procurement process says that contracts above a particular level must be tendered internationally. What the government can do is it can make a policy decision that says we will ensure that there is a framework within the policy direction where local contractors are engaged, and that is something that the Prime Minister is committed to. Also committed to the knowledge transfer. One of the lessons we learned in Peru was that when the international experts came, they were twinned with locals. And if you look at how NARA is being set up, while we did go international for the CEO, we did not restrict and say only an international person can apply. And to be honest with you, a lot of Jamaican experts are applying to be a part of NARA. So there is going to be a reservoir of Jamaicans working in NARA, and when these enterprise contractors who have the capacity to do the $1 billion US projects, they will now have to work with these experts in NARA, work with these persons in the NWA, work with these persons in NEPA, work with local contractors, because an international enterprise contractor is not necessarily going to have all the capacity locally to do these work. So they're going to have to engage locals. As it relates to the reporting mechanism, currently the Integrity Commission monitors NWA contracts almost on a daily basis. The Auditor General has that power and did so under Melissa. We are not interested in creating additional bureaucracies to solve problems that are already solved by existing institutions. While it may sound good to say in the bill, we will want day-to-day monitoring, the reality is that we already have day-to-day monitoring of government contracts. We have received correspondence from various entities which are constituted authorities to say you have to open up your book so that we can have day-to-day monitoring of every single contract that was being done in Melissa. So I don't see why we would want to do that. And that's one of the things that the NARA bill is trying to get away from, where we keep adding on layers of bureaucracy to solve problems that may not necessarily exist.
Speak to the issues that should be in regulations, in my view, that IMAJ believes should be in the bill itself.
So one of the things that we're trying to do is we're going to be debating the bill, and the bill is tabled in public for the public to submit their concerns. When I was on another program, I gave out my email address. I'm telling persons here in the industry, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to the government through various means to put forward your suggestions. There are things that are going to have to be in the regulations, and it's important that entities like the IMAJ submit their recommendations as quickly as possible so that we can consider them and put them in the regulations, and if not, or the bill, and if not, explain why we haven't. One of the problems that Peru had was they started their reconstruction effort in 2017, immediately after their disaster in 2017. And because of taking the traditional route to reconstruction, they had to abandon that approach 3 years later to set up what we are setting up now. So what we have done is we have looked at the lessons from, let's say, Grenada, where they set up a recovery infrastructure, a recovery organization.
That was after Hurricane Maria.
After Hurricane Maria. But what happened to them is that the organization has not really implemented any infrastructure projects of any great significance. What it has been is a data collection and planning organization. We have no time. We have the data. We know what we need to do. We know where the disaster is. We want to build back better quickly. So yes, it is a bit fast, and persons are saying, wow, this is too fast. slow down. Look at it. But the people are suffering. There are still people in Jamaica who do not have a roof over their heads because of Hurricane Melissa. So the government is obligated to answer the call of the suffering of the people and quickly move within the legislative framework or within the accountability framework to solve the problems that the people have.
Are you any more comfortable, Richard Mullings, than you were before this morning, based on what the minister has said in addressing some of the concerns you've raised in that press release?
What gives me comfort is that the minister has expressed willingness or openness to dialogue, which he does traditionally, and to take in consideration into account into how this bill and the regulations will be formed. And I'm looking forward to providing more input on behalf of the master builders so that we can see it constructed in a way that will get wide support, public trust, bipartisan support, and so on.
By the end of this second quarter, Minister, will all of this thing be wrapped up and NARA will be able to hit the road properly as an authority with a legal undergirding?
So the bill is in Parliament. Parliament is set to resume, I think, on April 14th. And close to that date, we will start debating the bill. We expect and we hope that the opposition and others will bring substantive suggestions for the improvement of the bill, because we do not suspect that we are experts at everything as a government, and we are open to good suggestions. After the bill is passed, we have to now work on the regulations. We believe that by the second quarter, or as close to the first quarter of the financial year as well, a significant portion of the heavy lifting as it relates to the employment of persons, as it relates to the choosing and publicizing of the major projects that will be under NARA, will be made public. And I'm sure at that time, or even before, many of the persons who have concerns will be reassured. We as a government cannot do anything in secret. Our governance structure, the accountability framework that we ourselves have been a major part of building, forces any administration to be open to public scrutiny. And that is what NARA bill has to do. Yes, persons are going to say, why is the procurement process changed? The procurement process has changed because we cannot afford to not rebuild as quickly as possible. The window where the world is looking at us and saying this is an emergency is fast closing.
Yes.
And to take advantage of that perception globally and locally, where people's minds are attuned to the need to quickly rebuild, and using that rebuilding not just to rebuild what was there before, but to build better and more resilient, is something that we have to do very quickly.
Richard, so something that caught my eye from your press release was the line about conflict of interest provisions binding its officers. What gave rise to that particular concern, and has there been anything said, whether to you privately that or publicly, that satisfies you that that's not going to be an issue?
Well, that is something we have in our recommendations. When reading through it, we were a bit concerned about, I didn't want to go into those details, but they had like an indemnity provision indemnifying, I think, the acts by officers without, but we were concerned that it didn't limit the acts to acts done in good faith and without gross negligence and willful misconduct. We also noticed another clause about the secrecy provision in the act. But there's a bit more, those are finer details I didn't think we had the time to go through in length right now.
George,
yes.
George,
yes.
Before you go, it's a very important point that you and Mr. Mullins have raised. We have developed a accountability structure and process in Jamaica that criminalizes administrative errors. What it has done, it has had a chilling effect on the public sector, where public servants are afraid to act because they are afraid that if they make a simple error, then they'll be drawn before the courts and be convicted of a criminal offense. It is why indemnifying for reasonable acts is important in allowing the actors to be free to act within the law. to cause the thing to be done quickly. The other issue we have as well that we have to be very honest about is that a lot of the experts do not want to be tied legislatively to the organization in a particular way.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
For example, George, I want you to be on the oversight committee. And we have spoken to persons and they're saying, well, based on how the system is set up now, if you legislatively cause me to be a part of it, and the obligations that I have to do and the risk that I face based on my business, I don't want to be a part of it. If you want me to be in an independent oversight where I am not part of the direction and management of the organization, but I can look at everything that you're doing and publicly report on it, fine. But to cause me to have to file reports and to be in...
Lord, the line strike again. All right. We lost that. I think we had enough of it. Well, Richard Mullings, I hope you and your colleagues can get some give where the government is concerned on this bill, and we hope that the concerns raised in the statement will be catalyzed in a formal document, and that at the end of the day, the NARA legislation is something that we feel serves its purpose and can help us to meet the objectives.
So, as I've said, we are 100% for constructive dialogue, and we don't have a choice. The NARA bill, the NARA process has to succeed, and we're doing our best to support that process, and we're hoping that we'll help the government in getting that wide support for this to be a trusted program.
All the best to you and the Master Builders.
Thank you very much, Zach.
Richard Mullings, head of the Incorporated Master Builders Association of Jamaica, taking us up to across Jamaica.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Miss a beat with your mortgage payments at NHD.
Stay on top of your NHD mortgage payments when you pay by the first day of each month. The time by the National Housing Trust is
8 o'clock. Interex Distributors presents the ultimate tile clearance sale. Transform your space for less. Dunrobin Plaza, 30 Dunrobin Avenue. The temperature by Interex Distributors is 26 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay, and in Mandeville, 22 degrees Celsius.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's across Jamaica this morning.
In Across Jamaica this Friday morning, Friday, April 10, 2026, there has been a 9% increase in major crimes in Manchester since the start of the year. This based on data recorded in the corresponding period in 2025. Head of the Manchester Police, Superintendent Kerry Duncan, provided the figure during Thursday's monthly meeting of the Manchester Municipal Corporation.
What has challenged us was those incidents over in Comfort Mayday space that we had earlier in the year, where we had some land settlements, where we had some persons unfortunately being killed. Since those incidents, I want to say that we have implemented several strategies in the space, and they seem to be working pretty well. We have not seen any major incidents over in that space since the last incident where we had the double homicide. We have had a special team that is designated over in that space. We refer to it as proximity policing, where persons within that space can reach out to police within 2 minutes of anything happening in that space. And we're seeing where it is in fact working.
Data from the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Serious Crimes Report show that 10 people have been murdered in Manchester as at April 4. This represents 5 more than those recorded for the corresponding period in 2025. Shootings have gone up by 29%. Robberies have seen a 50% jump, and break-ins have increased by 6%. Superintendent Duncan says despite the increase, the police have seized more illegal weapons and ammunition since the start of the year.
Our team in Manchester have recovered some 8 prohibited weapons and over 200 rounds of ammunition, and that is up from last year where we recovered at this time 5 illegal firearms. There are some initiatives that we have in place that can't speak about right now, looking at those murders on the land settlement side and the Old England. So apart from that, having characterized all of that in that space, now what we're seeing emerging now are the domestic related issues in the space. So there's certainly a need to have those interventions done.
Superintendent Kerry Duncan, head of the Manchester Police Division. The Jamaica Fire Brigade is investigating the circumstances of a fire which claimed the life of a 14-year-old girl in St. John's Gardens, Spanish Town, St. Catherine on Wednesday. The teen's brother was injured in the incident and is being treated at hospital. The incident occurred sometime after 4 p.m. The Jamaica Fire Brigade's divisional head for St. Catherine, Superintendent Dennis Lyon, provided the details.
We dispatched 1 unit to the scene. When the unit was on its way, and based on the volume of smoke seen emitting into the atmosphere, they requested additional help, and another unit was dispatched. So both units got on the scene. We got into operation, and when the fire was brought under control, it was a 5-bedroom dwelling house. And we implement cooling down measures. We came upon the body of a 14-year-old female in one of the bedrooms. Her brother, we were told, was transmitted to the hospital before our arrival. And at the moment, we are conducting an investigation into where the fire originated and the cause.
Superintendent Dennis Lyon, St. Catherine Divisional Head at the Jamaica Fire Brigade. He was speaking with our news center on Thursday. And that's it for Across Jamaica.
From the biggest tracks to the biggest energy, Nationwide keeps it moving. If you love the vibes, come and lock in with us for real.
World boss, leave a prison could stop me.
Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club today on Patreon.
Practice. God me say you watch you over me practice.
Turn up the heat with Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classifieds feature. If you have a car for sale, room for rent, or yard sale come up. If you look at work or need stuff. If you provide a service, make it a Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classified segment. Your listing plays again and again. From morning till evening. You sing it, we play it. You say it once, Jamaica hears it all day, every hour. Contact our sales team now at 876-630-1210 or sales at nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Hot Listings on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
Jamaican high school and college athletes will take on the best of the USA at the Penn Relays April 23, 24, and 25. A live coverage is on Nationwide Radio, brought to you by the Sports Development Foundation, developing a nation through sports. The Universal Service Fund, connecting you to more. That's live coverage of the Penn Relays on this station April 23, 24, and 25. Don't miss it.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come with me. Let's go back in time.
This magic moment
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
(8:10) on the clock, and this is Nationwide this morning. The Israeli military offensive against Hezbollah has become, or is, a major flashpoint amid fragile U.S.-Iran the ceasefire. The Iranians have said, well, listen, the hostilities have to stop in Hezbollah for any ceasefire to hold. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel is seeking direct negotiations with Lebanon to disarm Hezbollah and foster peaceful relations, but maintains no ceasefire is currently in effect. Lebanese officials, however, say Beirut has not received any formal invitation to talks, with one official insisting there will be no negotiations under fire. Meanwhile, the U.S. President Donald Trump is warning Iran against imposing tolls on oil tankers passing through the Strait of Hormuz. Abu Dhabi's oil chief has also indicated the strait is not open, as only a limited number of vessels are managing to pass through it. The conflict, now stretching beyond 40 days, has led to daily rises in global oil prices. For a perspective on the situation, I'm joined by three student debaters: Joshua Atkins, student debater from the University of Technology, Jamaica; Matthew Douglas, also from UTech; and Matthew White, a debater from the UWI Mona. They are all pursuing degrees in law. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning, Mr.
So I have everybody. Matthew. Is it Matthew? How you doing? Yeah, Matthew, and Joshua. All right. So Atkins, Douglas, White. All present?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, good. Let me start with no particular order. Matthew Douglas, let me hear your perspective on this unfolding situation now that has sent global oil prices skyrocketing. The World Bank and the IMF say, listen, this will scar the global economy permanently, even if the war were to end today. How do you see it?
Okay, so you asked a very, general question there insofar as there are a lot of things to examine here. With respect to the impact on the global economy, I'll start with that since that's the last thing you mentioned. They are correct in saying that this is going to have a fairly long-term effect, even if the war were to end right now and Iran were to just let everything through the Strait right now. So the movement of oil through the Strait has been stopped for some time, correct?
Yes.
Importantly, though, the way in which oil tends to travel from the Strait, it takes, to my knowledge, up to several months, actually, to reach the majority of its destinations, like where it is coming from the Strait, going to Southeast Asia, going to Europe, so on and so forth. And so what would happen even now, were the Strait to be opened, is that the actual effect of the closure initially would still be sort of reverberating through the rest of the world for several months to come. And so you're still going to have that shortfall, and therefore you're still going to have a sustained increase in oil prices. Although you would expect perhaps a small drop in the wake of perhaps a bit of renewed investor confidence, should that the ceasefire continue to hold through and Iran, allow shipping through the lane. However, even that looks unlikely insofar as Iran hasn't completely allowed shipping to pass through. So what we're hearing is that, according to Iran, the ceasefire allowed them it was in exchange for the possibility of for ships to pass through the Strait, subject to what they call technical concerns or something similar, which is really vague and doesn't give ships necessarily a guarantee to pass through the Strait. So, as of right now, Iran has still limited traffic to those ships that contact them first and are willing to either pay a toll or have whatever reason otherwise just been permitted. And this has significantly slowed the amount of ships, has slowed the traffic that's been able to go through. So as of right now, we still haven't actually seen solvency to that particular issue. So we haven't even gotten to the point of waiting for, gas prices to go down and, for the effects to sort of wear off.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, other secondary effects of them blocking the Strait, not just the increases in the price of oil, but also talking about things like fertilizer. I believe about 30% of the world's fertilizer actually passes through the Strait of Hormuz, and fertilizer is an input in about half of all food products, broadly speaking, which increases, of course, the cost of food insofar as it lowers the productivity of food production, right? That's the economic element. I'd expect the effects to continue for some time.
Yes.
And I don't currently see, given Israel's willingness to continue the war in Lebanon, a reason for Iran to actually completely open the Strait, considering that is contingent on Israel. According to them, Israel actually ceasing their hostilities, and there's no sign of that to come so far.
Yeah. Joshua, given that the Iran has control of the Strait, we all know that. Who really holds the whip hand in this conflict as it's unfolding?
So that's a very good Davis. I think in terms of the whip, it's a clear
Hold on, Joshua. Joshua's line is choppy. Some of his words are cutting out, and I know that's not how he speaks. Can we reconnect Joshua's connection, Michelle, if we can? In the meantime, Matthew, are you hearing me?
Oh, Matthew.
No. Mr. White, are you hearing me, Mr. White? Just heard from Matthew Douglas.
I'm hearing you, listening.
Good. All right.
I'm ready.
What? The line is also choppy right there. Joshua and Matthew are on the same line. So what do I do? Because they're not coming through clearly. All right, let me continue with Matthew Douglas until we can sort out the line with White and Atkins. So Matthew Douglas, the issue of the time that this thing is dragging on and the effect it's having on global markets, and across the Atlantic, the fury building up among NATO members, the leading lights, the Spanish Prime Minister, the British Prime Minister, and others saying clearly that this is not in the best interest of anybody, and their positions becoming increasingly trenchant. Do you think that NATO has suffered a reset by virtue of what is happening, and that relations are going to be soured to the extent that this very important organization may change right before our eyes in terms of the power brokers in it and how it is constituted even?
Well, with respect to the NATO alliance, it has been under a bit of strain for some time since Trump has been in office. As we know, starting with his famous remarks about Greenland and implications of, implying that the U.S. might seek to seize it through some hostile actions. This, however, I think has definitely strained things a lot further. We've seen effectively all countries in Western Europe hesitate to come to Trump's aid in the Middle East. Some have outright, of course, just rebuffed him for his actions against Iran to begin with. And we've seen Trump's response. Trump has since criticized NATO for failing to come to his aid, criticized NATO for relying on the U.S., whereas the U.S. apparently not being able to rely on NATO. I'm not certain that this, I don't believe actually, that this is going to amount to the effective dissolution or of the alliance or anything of the sort. I still do believe the United States has enough interest in preserving the security of Western Europe to wish to continue with the alliance and continue supporting it.
Yes.
Although I think we may see perhaps additional, a bit more hard rhetoric from Trump, perhaps a bit of demand based on NATO to sort of compensate for what perhaps Trump would perceive as their failing to support him.
Yes.
What these would look like, I'm not certain, but we know in the past Trump has, for instance, taken a hardline stance against countries in NATO failing to meet their military expenditure obligations.
Yes.
We could see something like that again, where Trump demands some concessions from NATO states in exchange for the United States' continued protection. Again, what that is, we're uncertain as to how it's going to play out.
We just wait and see. Joshua Atkins, I hear you're back. I had asked you about, with Iran holding the Strait of Hormuz in the palm of its hand, and the firepower of the Iranians and the US, especially when they combine, who really holds the whip hand in this conflict? You were answering that question when your connection got cut. Joshua?
First of all,
yes.
In terms of what Iran has done to the Strait of Hormuz, they filled it with a lot of naval mines, such that a lot of ships can't pass through unless they seek Iranian approval for them to help them maneuver through the strait. So as of right now, physically, a lot of countries can't pass through without incurring a lot of harm. But also, it's important to take into context the sort of financial implications of that, right? When it is that countries are facing a threat, or well, any sort of asset faces a threat, an existential threat that diminishes its quality, a lot of people would want insurance, right? Now, it means, therefore, that the higher the risk, the higher the insurance you have to pay on ships to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, in addition to the proposed tax that Iran is currently boasting about, that they're currently displaying, right? So it means not only does it become, financially burdensome in terms of paying that toll and the damage possibly that is, likely to incur if you go through the Strait of Hormuz without Iranian approval, but also in terms of the type of insurance that a lot of these companies that are transporting gas through the strait would have to pay for their ships in the case that it becomes damaged. Another point I'd like to draw into focus is essentially how unbalanced this war is in terms of the expenditure that both sides incur, right? So you're seeing that Iranians are spending around like 250,000 per ballistic missiles. Well, not 250,000. I think it was 25,000 per ballistic missile versus the upwards of to nearly 4 million that Gulf countries, the U.S. And Israel, are spending on interceptors. Right? It means, therefore, that there is an economic imbalance in terms of who is bleeding more in this war, right? So Iran can cheaply send out drones for its own strategic and military interests, except it costs far more for the U.S. to intercept a lot of these cheap drones. And some analysts, and notice I've said some analysts have pointed out that this ceasefire is a way in which the U.S. gets to replenish and to try to sort out a lot of its mishaps in terms of its interceptors for them to get more to be able to intercept a lot of these drones, right?
Let me ask Matthew White, who's been waiting for a while from the UWI, the perception management game. Pete Hegseth speaks in grandiose terms and with a lot of bombast. Of course, nobody speaks with more than the U.S. president himself, and their claims and declarations about the war are not quite matched by the realities that are being reported from ground zero in the Middle East. Do you think that the administration, the Trump administration, is bleeding public goodwill, whatever little there was before they went into the conflict, by virtue of what they say not being matched by what is happening or reported to be happening in the Middle East as this conflict rages?
Okay, so this is a really great question. I've been thinking about it for a while, actually, talking to Joshua and Matthew about it. This is, for us, our generation, the atom bomb. You know, the sort of fear of impending world doom caused by foreign power. What is really happening here is that the Trump administration and America at large are really formalizing a sort of foreign policy that has been developing for the last few decades, which is that forceful military intervention, forceful liberalizing of economies, forceful quote-unquote liberating and democratizing government is what people in these countries want, and that they desire fervently. You know, we got that sort of forceful PR from America in terms of Venezuela. You know, the idea that the Venezuelan people would be more than happy for the leader to be taken out of their country forcefully in the middle of the night, and that could all rejoice in the streets. And that's the sort of idea that we're getting from, or we're being forced upon for Iran now. You know, bringing up, or demonizing in the first instance, 1979 revolution, doing that inappropriate and done poorly, and that the only people that can really liberate Iran are sort of forceful minds of America. But there's a nuance that we need to appreciate. Mm-hmm. Quite obviously, the people of a sovereign nation are not going to be pleased with foreign intervention of any kind, especially when it is forceful and militaristic. We can accept that. But I think we also need to believe fundamentally that people have a desire for liberty and democracy. People have a desire, I think, globally for secularization, even though these are ethnically Muslim people. I don't think the sort of heavy austere influence of their religion in their legal system is one that is entirely justified with that it exists now. I do not believe the way to remedy that is through the type of intervention America brings up.
Yes.
And if I may add, Matthew, I think what we're experiencing now is a push against the U.S. internally by the vast majority of people within my very own generation who are anti-war, seeing what is happening in places like the West Bank and Gaza, right? And also associating those actions with what is currently happening in Iran. I think in terms of PR management, it is extremely, and it's going to be extremely difficult for the U.S. to sell this war as a legitimate, as legitimate one, but as something that, you know, the world should support. I think a lot of people are not convinced quite frankly, I think the opposite is true. A lot of people are even more upset with the U.S.
Yes.
Given what they call an illegal war.
Yes, gentlemen, you know what is pleasing for me hearing the three of you speak. You know, I was you once, so I feel really proud to be giving, if even a little space on the platform for you to articulate your views, just to advertise your well-being and your quality articulating viewpoints on important international issues. I'd like to have you back at a time soon to be determined in the future, but I'm out of time now. Joshua, how old are you, Joshua?
I am 20.
20. Which parish are you from?
I'm from Kingston.
And which high school you went?
I went to Sophia High School.
Matthew Douglas, sir. Age and high school, sir.
I'm 20 years old. I went to Herbert Morrison.
Herbert Morrison. So you're a West man?
Yes, I am.
All right. Mr. White, high school and age?
I'm 19. I'm from Trelawney. But when last I said there's only one high school in Jamaica.
Hold on. I didn't hear the high school. Which high school? Oh, but you don't say Casey.
No.
Listen, the man has a right to hype up his high school. We all have a right to do. All right. So I'm not going to quarrel with anybody who says their high school is the best. That's fine. All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much, and we'll reconvene. All right.
You have a good morning, George.
Yeah, man. Joshua, Matthew, and Matthew. Atkins, Douglas, White. Atkins and Douglas from UTech. White from the UWI. And they are three fine young gentlemen. All right? Break time. Back with more after these.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:28.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The temperature by Fontana Pharmacy, it's all good inside, is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Super Center, everything for your home and more.
Bring back the fun of shopping. Discover the best finds in every aisle of amazing items. For your kitchen, your living room, your bedroom, or any room, Azan Supercenter has that perfect touch to elevate your space to the next level. Our team is ready to help you find what you are looking for you or someone else. So stop by our Crossroads store today and rediscover the fun of shopping.
Azan Supercenter, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Queen, Brittany Clark.
Hi, I'm Brittany. Are you culturally aware, talented, and confident? Enter Miss Jamaica Festival Queen 2026 today. Log on to jcdc.awardsplatform.com and you have until April 17 to enter. Over $1 million in cash and prizes.
Miss Jamaica Festival Queen.
Ready to upgrade your drive? Hyundai and Scotiabank are making it easier for you. Right now, you can drive away in a brand new Hyundai with an interest rate as low as 4.99%. Low interest rate, zero processing fees, and 1 year free insurance with Scotia Protect. Whether it's the compact Hyundai Venue, the bold Palisade, the stylish Tucson, or the dynamic Creta, Hyundai has the perfect vehicle waiting for you. So visit our showrooms at 7 Oxford Road, Kingston, or Providence Drive, Montego Bay, and get behind the wheel of a brand new Hyundai. Hyundai Jamaica. Because of you, conditions apply.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Jamaican high school and college athletes will take on the best of the USA at the Penn Relays April 23, 24, and 25. A live coverage is on Nationwide Radio, brought to you by the Sports Development Foundation, developing a nation through sports. The Universal Service Fund, connecting you to more. That's live coverage of the Penn Relays on this station April 23, 24, and 25. Don't miss it.
Back with us here on Nationwide this morning. Maybury Investments Limited has announced the prospectus for its highly anticipated $2 billion Jamaican dollar secured bond offering, saying it's now officially approved as they release it to the public. Registered with the Financial Services Commission, FSC, on Thursday, April 2, 2026. The offer is set to officially open on Monday, April 13. And for more information on this offer, I'm being joined by Vice President of Sales and Client Relations at Maybury, Okelia Paridon. Good morning, Okelia.
Good morning, George.
How you do?
I'm good, and are you?
I am very, very good. Monday's a big day.
It is, indeed.
All right. For those in the market for things like this, those with an appetite for it, or even those who are just curious and may want to take a plunge for the first time, what is on offer?
All right, so what is on offer is our public bond IPO, right? So in simple terms, what that is essentially is you're lending the public, we're asking the public to lend Maybury money, and in this case, Maybury will be giving them a return on that money at a fixed rate at 10.5%, and they'll be getting quarterly or periodic interest payments. When the bond matures now, which is just short, relatively short, 18 months, they will get back that principal.
Mm-hmm. And just backtrack a little for me, Okelia. For those who may be wondering, who are not au fait with the financial language, as certainly you are, as an expert in the field, and they're saying, well, a stock and a bond, and they call it a bond, what is the difference? Is this the same thing? Could you distill those two things for me and just reestablish what Maybury is actually offering?
All right, so as I said before, the bond is considered a predictable structure, a way you can earn, you're getting steady income from that. There's no increase or decline in whatever you invest versus a stock. You buy the stock. Both of them, though, will, however, be listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The difference here is that the stock, every day probably you hear the news that a stock went up, went down, traded firm, etc. And that way you may have gains today, losses tomorrow. I mean, on paper, unless you sell them, of course, or buy more. So the difference really is one gives you a predictable stream of income, whereas the other one, which is a stock, it's not so predictable with that stream of income.
Very well. For those who hear the big P word, Okelia, and perhaps get nervous, they hear prospectus and they want more information on top of what you've given so far. What is in the prospectus? How will that guide them to the decision that Maybury hopes they make, of course, which is to support the bond?
So I like to tell people that when you hear of, the word prospectus or an offering of any sort, and they say prospectus, treat it like this is the Bible, the guide to what the offering is. And the prospectus outlines every single thing about the offering. Earlier you mentioned when it was published, when it will be open, when it will be closed. These are some information that you'll find in the prospectus. How much is being offered? You mentioned over approximately $2 billion, the rate at which you're getting, how long it will run for, or the tenure of the investment, in this case 18 months. It speaks to the company, it speaks to the structure, all of these things, the risk factors associated. That's what the prospectus will outline.
Excellent. The other day in the budget debate, Okelia, the finance minister was keen to point out in her closing presentation that one of the aims of the government is to demystify the issue of bonds and stocks to a lesser extent. She most of us spoke about bonds. They say, listen, we don't want people to believe it's money man business, this are money woman business, big man, big people with whole heap of money. If you don't have whole heap of money, you can't participate. So I apply that to this offering that Maybury has on the table. Talk to Jamaicans who will hear you speak and say, boy, I can't reach this because I have millions of dollars to spend on them something.
So that's one of the things that Maybury has embarked on from as recent as I think 2023 when we started with these bonds. We were trying to, what the minister said and what you said, trying to unlearn a lot of things that people have when it relates to money. Most Jamaicans have a negative relationship with money, right? And there's this myth that I have to have a lot of money to invest. So not at all. What this offer does, it's designed to be accessible to all investors. As a matter of fact, the minimum that you can invest or start investing with this bond is just 20,000 Jamaican dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can add in increments of 10,000.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You hear that? 20,000 gets you in, at least that.
At least that. And the good thing about it is that if you only have 20,000 now and you want to start investing, you can start. And then because it's being traded on the Jamaica stock market, what if in another 3 months you find yourself with another 20, another 10? You can go and buy some more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, people would have, I mean, even if you are not following news, the name Maybury, you'd have to live under several layers of rock to never have heard about Maybury. And Maybury has a reputation. But beyond the reputation that Maybury has, Okelia, people are saying, well, boy, look how much you may have. I wonder if it's safe buying into this bond with this entity. Put on the table again why Maybury's track record and way of doing business over time does suggest that this is a good thing to do with your hard-earned cash.
Well, you know, I have to brag that, you know, Maybury is broker number one for a reason.
Are you for say so to me?
And we're actually broker one. And I'm talking about market share. We're broker one. And, you know, we've been in the market over 40 years. So that speaks to our track record and longevity in and of itself. But outside of that, this bond is a secured bond. And it's a very important question that you ask because it's always top of mind of persons when they're doing investments, right? It's strictly a charge. What we're doing is putting a charge or a lien over Maybury's secured loan book or their underlying assets. And those assets have what we call 2 times the coverage. So if we're looking to raise $2 billion, what we're saying that the assets will be in excess of $4 billion. To cover.
Mm-hmm.
And these bonds will rank in the same order as any current debt that we have or any debt to come. Some people, you know, I think the term is pari passu.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're on equal footing with other secured debt of the company. So we are ensuring that your investment is treated with a high priority and protection.
Great. Restate again from your Okelia when the offer opens, when it closes, how people can get in before it closes, and of course the return that is on the table.
It officially opens on the 13th of April 2026, which is next week Monday, and it is slated to close on May 11, 2026. However, we are at liberty to close before because it's a first-come, first basis. As a matter of fact, we have already started accepting applications. We're in a digital era, you know, everything is done online. So I'd encourage people to start, you know, contacting their brokers, calling us, coming in to get your accounts opened or your application submitted.
Mm-hmm. And did you mention 10.5%?
Yes, I did. All of 10.5.
All of 10.5. All right, cool. That sounds good. So Monday, April 13, a big day for potential investors, another big day for Maybury, and you're putting the company's reputation on the line to say to potential investors, come on, you're in good hands, eh?
Correct.
Excellent. Okelia, thank you very much. All the best to you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Great. Vice President of Sales and Client Relations at Maybury, Okelia Paradon. Yeah, Maybury, the name says it all.
Decorate like a designer with BH Paints. The time brought to you by BH Paints is
8:41.
on a ship fantasize. All your dreams will come true miles away. Our voices will ring together until the 12th of never. We all will live, learn forever as one. Come to sing victory in the land of fantasy, love and light, a new decree, bringing mind to everlasting liberty.
Carlene says, George, please remind TT about the name raffle. Yeah?
Yeah.
And next week, we did say doing a Carlene, I never this week.
I don't even remember what we said.
You did say Friday, but I never this week Friday. Because this week Friday was taken up already with a certain thing, you know? So next week Friday, Carlene. Circle me back. I've been told and I've confirmed that today is the 91st birthday of former Prime Minister Percival James Patterson, PJ Patterson. Born April 10, 1935. The gentleman turns 91 on this day. And I want to say happy birthday, PJ Patterson. Well played to 91. Boy, I'd love if I can get anywhere near that.
Me too.
So, may I tell you, so 91 and going strong, PJ Patterson, former Prime Minister, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Wishing for you a great day.
What you won't do for love. You tried everything, but you don't give up. In my world.
Who else is on the birthday list today? Let's see. Over on Facebook, happy birthday greetings going out to Andre Richards, Tashai Rose, is it? Today is one of our YouTubers' birthday.
Yeah.
Magnus Williams Jr. It's your birthday today.
Big up Magnus.
Good morning to you, Magnus. It's your big day today. Happy birthday to you. Wishing for you a lovely one. Hillary Ray, happy birthday to you as well. It's also the birthday of Chin Thompson, Keisha Francis, and somebody who calls themselves Hill and Gully on Facebook. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday as well to Cecile Price, Randy Chambers, Bubbling Bubs Bins. Happy birthday to you. And happy birthday as well to Karine Lasanji. Wishing for you a great day.
Just let me interject with the family club. 2 new members to the family club, or 2 newest members, Zomian Thompson and Eldine 876. So Zomian Thompson, good morning and welcome to the family club.
Welcome.
And Eldine 876, good morning and welcome to the family club. May I remind the family club members that we have On Point this week with Chris Issa, CEO of S Hotel, who talks about getting serious about building Jamaica and sharing his family's legacy in Jamaica. You don't want to miss that. Chris Issa, the S Hotel CEO, sat with me for The Point, which will be available to Patreon family club members this week. Lifetime features. Last Friday we featured the Lifetime on Desmond McKenzie, recorded during his time as mayor. Yeah, man, Desmond was mayor for a long time, and they say he's our best mayor, and the record shows that he was our best mayor. So we featured him when he was mayor, so you can go back to listen to, like, you see, I'll be all it's ready, Desmond is concerned, all it's some oldie but goodie, you know what I mean, some old time something, you know. Desmond still a packing lunch in thermos and in enamel cup of drink, you know, old time thing. So that's also in the package for the Patreon Lifetime members. We also have a new Lifetime feature, Dr. Rosemary Wright Pasco, distinguished endocrinologist, researcher, and former president of the Medical Association of Jamaica. We have behind the scenes about the performance this morning, the behind the scenes that's on the Patreon platform as well. And we have the we have what else we have? We have exclusive post-performance interview only available to our Patreon Family Club members. So a whole heap of things are going on the Patreon Family Club this week as we welcome 2 new family members, Zomian Thompson and Eldine 876 Donna.
All right, some more birthdays here. Everton Wilson sending happy birthday greetings to Nickard Wilson from Dad Everton and Mom Marcia Wilson. So the Wilson parents, Everton and Marcia Wilson, sending happy birthday greetings to their son, Nickard Wilson, wishing for him a great day. Christopher Henry saying happy birthday to his wife, Mrs. Terry Lamb Henry, who is celebrating, well, she will celebrate her birthday on Sunday, April 12. So happy birthday when it comes, Terry, from your husband, Christopher. And he's saying to you, I will always love you, my baby. So happy birthday when it comes. James Torres, good morning to you. James Torres is sending happy birthday, she says, to our stats friend, Sandra Reed. Good morning to you, Sandra Reed. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you from James Torres here in the YouTube chat. Who else is celebrating a birthday today? This one says, is this Didier Hub? Saying tomorrow is your birthday. 35 years old. You'll turn 35 years old tomorrow. So happy birthday when it comes to you, Didier Hub, in the YouTube chat. And I see a lot of you wishing Magnus a happy birthday in the chat. So again, Magnus, happy birthday to you. Also celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday greetings going out to Sister Gianna Scott in Sav, Ralston Small in Sav as well, and Donovan Weir. Belated happy birthday to you, Donovan. Hope you had a good one. These are coming from Sergeant Wayne Wallace. Also seeing here, this one says, happy birthday greetings going out to Jerome Newton, celebrating your birthday today, Jerome. And Winsome Andrews, your birthday is tomorrow, so happy birthday when it comes. Greetings coming from all of your fam bam over there at JSIF. And this one says, happy birthday greetings going out to Ivan Gauntlet, aka Miss Outspoken, and Veronica Brown, aka Miss Dependable. They're celebrating their special days tomorrow, so happy birthday when it comes to both Ivan and Veronica. You both have an awesome day from Eureka team members with love. Also seeing here Norma Taylor, VVIB. Very, very important birthday here. Norma Taylor, your birthday is tomorrow, so happy birthday when it comes, Lady Norma over there in Florida. The greetings coming from your family members and your friends. Some more birthdays here. So Cheryl Hamilton is saying that her birthday will be on Sunday. So Cheryl Hamilton, an early happy birthday to you, Lady Cheryl. Hoping that you'll have a fabulous day on Sunday, your birthday. Also seeing here, Prudence Gowdy is also wishing the former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson a happy birthday. Wishing you God's grace, mercy, and continued blessings and love. So happy birthday again to the former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson, celebrating his birthday today, 91 years old today. Ironside JM sending happy birthday. This one says to my princess, Dr. Camille Smith, from Uncle Norman S. Burke OD. Happy birthday to you, Princess Dr. Camille Smith, from your Uncle Norman. Wishing for you a great day. Etta Barclay, good morning to you, Miss Etta. Sending happy birthday greetings to a wonderful friend, Beverly Williams, who will be celebrating her birthday tomorrow, April 11th. So happy birthday when it comes to you, Beverly Williams. And Etta says, hope that you will have a fantastic day from the Barclays and the Brooms family. So happy birthday when it comes. And Patria K. Charles, a friend, Patria K. Charles, your birthday is on Sunday. So happy birthday when it comes. Lady Patria, wishing for you a lovely day. I know that your husband will make it a great one for you. So happy birthday when it comes. Jillian Coleman sending happy birthday to grandson Mackay Henry. Happy birthday to you, Mackay Henry, from your grandma, Jillian Coleman. Hoping that you'll have a lovely one. Oh, down. Kurt Buchanan saying, big up my friend here in Toronto, Canada. Happy birthday, Roger. So, Roger, it's your birthday today. And your friend Kurt Buchanan is wishing you a great one. Vivian Steele saying, good morning, George and Tana. It is the time of year again, sending birthday to my mother, Adelza. So, your mom, Vivian Adelza Martin, is celebrating her birthday on April 12. And it's coming from all of us in the U.S. So Vivian and the family sending early birthday greetings to their mom, Adelza Martin. And guess what? Adelza is turning 101 years old on Sunday.
101?
101 on Sunday. So,
big congratulations.
Miss Adelza.
Big
Yeah, man, you're going good.
Yes.
Happy birthday when it comes to you from Vivian and the rest of the family there in the U.S. A family member, an NNN family member is celebrating her birthday tomorrow. So Star Girl says, hi George and Tona, as a Silver Club member, I'm giving a shout out to myself as I turn 60 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Big up yourself, Star Girl.
Star Girl.
You are a Star Girl. Celebrating your birthday tomorrow, and it's a milestone for you, Star Girl. 60 years old tomorrow, that's major. So happy birthday when it comes. And Stargirl says that she'll be celebrating with the family, giving thanks to God as I enter this new milestone. So Stargirl, Sharon Russell is the name. She's over there in the United Kingdom. So happy birthday when it comes to you, Sharon Russell, or silver member in the NNN Family Club, aka Stargirl.
That's right. Enjoy it, Stargirl. Enjoy it.
And Pauline says, Tana, today's my birthday. Good morning to you, birthday girl, Pauline. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you. And hoping that you'll have a really, really good day. Dr. Gail, health and wealth. So Dr. Gail is sending happy anniversary to my Bishop and Lady Reed tomorrow from the Linstead New Testament Church. Wishing them God's continued blessings and saying, we love you guys. So her Bishop and Lady Reed, tomorrow, anniversary. So happy anniversary to the Reeds. Hoping that they'll have a great one.
You saw something from Kenyatta Montgomery?
No, I didn't see that one.
So Kenyatta, post it back now, man.
Yeah.
McTurner slap it off you.
Yeah. Nadine is sending birthday wishes to Suzette, her sister. Suzette, your birthday is tomorrow. So your sister Nadine is sending you early birthday greetings. So happy birthday when it comes, Suzette. Hoping that you'll have a wonderful day tomorrow. Also seeing here, Leroy Rutty sending happy birthday greetings as well to Stargirl, saying climbing the ladder gracefully. Shandy Hamilton sending happy birthday and anniversary to everybody who's celebrating. So good on you, Shandy. All right, so I'm not seeing, here it is. No, not seeing it. So Kenyatta, if you can drop back that birthday real quick.
Where to go, ask them where they're going, they don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're gonna put our show together, gonna polish up our act now. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing stand in your way.
Sandricia Smith says, tomorrow is my anniversary also, Tona.
Hey to you, Sandricia, celebrating your anniversary tomorrow. So happy anniversary. I know you'll make it a great one for you and the hubby. So happy anniversary to you.
So Kenyatta just dropped now.
Here we go. Good morning to you, Kenyatta. Kenyatta sending belated happy birthday greetings to second mom, Charmaine Gordon Barrett. She celebrated her birthday yesterday. Love and more love, Mama, says Kenyatta. So belated happy birthday to you, Miss Charmaine, from your son, Kenyatta Montgomery. And this one says, Ernetta Reed, my pastor, Kenrick Robinson, will be celebrating his birthday tomorrow. Wishing him long life and abundant blessings. So, Pastor Robinson, Kenrick Robinson, your birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday when it comes from Ernetta Reed.
Hey, so King, pull up that, King, pull up that. Is it tonight, no? When Desmond and I go in bed, they won't play one bedtime story. They won't tell him one bedtime story.
Yeah.
But what him thinks they won't do bedtime story at the WYFL, they won't play a few.
Sure.
So as we go out of the show, King, play the rhythm that will haunt Desmond from now till thy kingdom come.
Get me on the beat, so it's a banger.
Desmond, how you feel like? Are you a clash with in a real life?
Yeah.
Hey. Desmond, how you feel like? That's a remote, boy. That's how we get to work. Desmond. WYFL.
As we go, seeing here, birthday greetings. Jerome Newton from your Joseph family in Winsome Andrews. Yeah, we got this one. So happy birthday to them again, Jerome and Winsome Andrews. Your birthday's tomorrow. Happy birthday when it comes.
Joanna Howell says, sending happy birthday to my sister Michelle Henry, who will be Cypher birthday tomorrow. That may have been a mistake. Celebrating. Yeah, man. Michelle Henry, your birthday is Saturday. Your sister Joanna Howell says, happy birthday to you when it comes.
Happy birthday when it comes.
You see, them say Desmond will kill you with tune. But that's the thing. Desmond can only kill you with people tune. Him can't kill you with theme tune. It looks like him going about 15 artists in the studio Sunday.
You're an original.
Yeah, man. Come with something original. Do something more we never hear before, Desmond. Like we did this morning. Something where the country never hear before. Come with something the country never hear before on Sunday where you're coming at the Mia's Barlow. Do that and beat. If you do that, we resign. We resign from journalism and broadcasting. Now we raise chicken. Take home there.
Yeah. So that's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning. NTM, one big show. That's NTM. Thanks so much to our technical operator, the musical maestro, Jermaine King, our super producer, Michelle McCrae Smith. Up next, the Consumer Hour with Norgay Banton at 10. Cliff Hughes Online. I'm Tana.
WYFL. That's all I'm ever say. 17 bars of fire. Desmond, what the big show, it's the NTM, TT and GD, and the boss for them. NGB rocket from 9 to 10. Then Cliff come through from the clocks at 10. If Donna Thomas and the Bobby then, that mean GD near Moss again. Jeremy and King stronger than all of them. Them this him thump dog all of them. Our fans, them are super friends. Them brighter than any other group of friends. When them see we in the street, looking so neat, them a scream on the ball out 4%. Missing the enemies a screw, but poor boo-boo. We coulda never full of hate like you. We a drive past you, we no use rear view. We a step up in the life, but the hell you can do. Them say them a go sue, but sue who? We no know about you, but me like Sue. Me and Sue, we're gonna my brown stool. They come over in the dance, we a wine right through.
Just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
fearless, and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
Your taxes hold the key.
Property owners, want to query your property tax status? You can do so online. Tax Administration Jamaica has a property tax query online service where you can access information about your property tax status. To access this service, log on